Guys, today, no funnies. There's no bloopers in the beginning. No, hey, edit points, hey, chi, what. Straight into it. Let's go.
Jump up in the club. Everybody gather round. Two broke Twimbos in the town. Listen close to the sound. Now me that guy and feel charged. Baby, bringing the fun. With the podcast vibes, we not stop till the morning sun. Every episode got me laughing, can't control my smile. Talking about the latest news with their unique style. From Zimbabwe to the world, they spreading good vibes, keeping it real and entertaining. They're on the rise, two broke Twimbos, bring the heat to the floor.
Hey.
Everybody get guy and feel charged in control. We gonna keep moving to the podcast flow. Oh yeah. We gonna keep moving to the podcast flow.
Yeah, that's right. We back one more again. Two broke Twimbos once again. Today we've got some things to talk about, but then we also have some music to talk about. So let's get straight into it, Phil. I gotta ask, are you
Good to go. Sound a big thing them.
Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. Two Broke Twimbos is back once again. My name's Downey, that guy, aka Danos the Mad Titan, aka Denford Wekumaraini, aka Denimbi, my life, your entertainment, aka I'm done with these streets. Damn, y'all got grocery stores in Zimbabwe? This is nice. Aka Akuna Mumenti Danmu.
Oui, that is right. And is here was the one and only, the unmistakable, the undeniable, the Olympicable, floating down the poop field rainbow. Phil Shad, aka Fling Floss, Le Grande Boss, aka Fizapi, Sexington Love, of course, DJ Mukudzei, Philon Musk, and Mon Ami, Ditangreo. Dringy. Oui. Hello.
I tried to keep a straight face, but yeah.
You know,
boys and
you
girls,
remember
welcome to
that time I did the challenge where I did the episode with the Bridgeton accent. I think this time I'll do the French. I'll be a Frenchman.
You did it for all of 34 seconds, Philip.
Let's see if I can beat the record. Oui. Hello. Bonsoir.
We're not wasting time today. Let's go straight into Africans doing it big. We're going to celebrate some Zimbabweans. Phil, last week we spoke about the Zimbabwe national rugby team, the Sables, entering the final of the Africa Cup, playing against Algeria. And we said you must watch the game. In fact, we even said Zimbabweans were favorites. Did you watch the game, Philip?
No. We discussed my limit of sports ball. I do not have much sports ball room. I don't even have time for the Olympics this juncture.
Oh, well, we are boycotting. No, I'm joking. We'll get into it. Actually, what happened was Zimbabwe defeated Algeria in the final 29-3. What? So what happened is Algeria fell to Zimbabwe in the Africa Cup final, crowning Zimbabwe as the champions of Africa after defeating Algeria. Not. It wasn't a tightly contested match. No, it wasn't. Let's try. No. It was 29-3.
You know, Dan, this reminds me of the song by the band Rain. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Rain. They're the guy called Fred Mercury. as they sing, nous sommes les champions. Nous sommes les champions, mon ami.
And no, keep fighting it till the end. This was the first Rugby Africa Men's Cup. Well, I mean, 12 years ago, it looks like we won also. But we beat Algeria 29-3. The game was played in Uganda, Kampala, on Sunday. And we took that win. So congratulations to Hilton Mdariki and his squad. Hilton Mdariki, of course, is the captain. And they did their thing. Some key people to mention. Right-wing Trevor Gurwe, who had a couple of first half tries to really make things happen. And then replacement front row Liam Larkin.
Sound it out, Danny.
And open side Godfrey Muzana.
Okay, no.
Muzana Ragwo. Yeah. Anyway, congratulations to the Sables. And guess what? Zimbabwe has gone up the ranks. And after the final has been concluded, Zimbabwe is 28th in the World Rugby Men's Rankings.
Oh, sacre bleu.
28th. That might mean we're on page 1. No, we're not. But, shout out to us. Only 27 places behind South Africa at position 1. Okay. Congratulations to Zimbabweans who are actually kind of doing well at the Olympics. Not reigning in medals well, but for example, at her debut Olympics, Paige van der Westhuizen, who we mentioned as a swimmer representing Zimbabwe, she came first in her heat, but obviously there were multiple heats because the pool is only so big, and she was overall 25th, which means I don't think she qualifies to the last 16 because, 25 is outside of 16, but I don't know the rules, so I'm just assuming. Congratulations to Steve Cox, who finished second in the EF semi-final. So we'll be seeing what he does in the E final. That'll be happening this Saturday. We'll see how that goes. And that's the squad that's out there. I'm not going to mention that because there's nothing actually to pick up there. Okay.
C'est bon.
Let's follow up on a couple of things, Phil.
We should follow up for the listeners.
Like prophets, last week we mentioned that there was someone in the country, and there were many people who were like, "What? I can't believe Tiffany Haddish is in Zimbabwe." And I was like, "You clearly don't listen to Two Broke Twimbos because we clearly said, guys, the signs are seeming to show the omens, the stars are misaligning." There's weird things happening. Strange sights are being seen because Tiffany Haddish is in Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, as soon as our episode dropped, what happened?
Tiffany going Haddish. Should I call Ocean and be like, yo, Ocean, how does it like having Tiffany and Pablo?
What happened, first of all, is last weekend, there was a video going around of Tiffany Haddish twerking in Pablo's. That's already a little bit weird, but I guess, she's in town. So where do people go in there in town? They'll go to Pablo's. This was.
I wasn't mad at it. It was just hilarious.
That's the thing. It's hilarious.
You know the funny part is, like, even in that video, but in the other video you're going to discuss later, it's like, I've been in the club when a celeb has been in the club.
Yeah.
Right? It's a bit of a spectacle. You know what I mean? Like, people are jam-packed, just trying to, being weird, phones out, I don't know. Maybe let me be fair. Maybe it just happened to be early on in the night. Maybe it was I don't know. Maybe there was a down. I don't know. But there seemed to be a lot of moving room around her section. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They seemed to be giving her room to do whatever she wanted to do. Get what I'm saying?
I see the shade you're building up.
I'm not building shade. I'm just being honest. I'm just saying, Dan, did it not look like people were letting her do her thing?
It did, but don't you think she seems to be having such a great time because it seems no one recognizes her here?
kind of getting to my point, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I mean, I think that's why she's like, oh my God, I'm having a great time.
But also, it was weird. It was weird because granted, I don't have TikTok on my phone, as I mentioned. I've got it on the iPad. So on Saturday, was it Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember. When she posted the video of her at Pick and Pay Arundel.
Can I play the video? Let me play the video because I think it'll provide context.
The comments were weird. Before Dan does that, the comments were weird because there's obviously a bunch of Zimbabweans who aren't in Zimbabwe. Or maybe are in Zimbabwe and are fans of Tiffany Haddish, obviously because they follow her page or they saw the thing. And most of them were like, I can't believe Tiffany Haddish is just like walking around Zimbabwe and she's not being mobbed. And I was like, okay, A, it's Tiffany Haddish, but also she's at Pick and Pay Arundel on a Saturday evening. Do you get, okay. I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on in the country right now, but there's a lot of if it's not Food Lovers Greendale, you're guaranteed some walking room in the supermarket these days. The only people
Tiffany Haddish is famous like Phase on Love is famous. You know what I mean?
That's funny, but the way he's done one. That was Dan. You know what, Dan?
Okay, now you're making it seem like it was shade. My point is, you're famous, but you're not famous because, oh my God, you're a celebrity. I'm such a big fan. Of course, I know she has fans, as I'm sure Phase on Love has got fans. But I feel like most people who look at Tiffany Haddish are going to be like, I feel like I know you from somewhere.
No.
As opposed to, oh my God, I'm such a fan of your work.
I would say that, but Tiffany Haddish, she's
A-list.
No. I wouldn't say she's that. I would say that Tiffany Haddish is very distinct. That's the thing. Like her voice, her character, her persona is very distinct. So
it's pretty common in Zimbabwe, I think. But anyway, yeah.
It's also racist.
I know.
Okay.
No, I know a lot of Tiffany Haddishes who live right here in Zimbabwe.
But anyway, give us some names.
Anyway, but Phil, this is all kind of besides the point. The point is,
play the video. Sorry,
okay.
Carry on.
So honestly, this would have been just a quick mention. We would have just been like, haha, we spoke about Tiffany Haddish being in Zim. There was a video of her and Pablo's. Whatevs. And then we would have moved on. We would have barely spent 7 seconds on this, right?
Tiffany's going to have it. Tiffany was like, nah, guys, I've got to give you the full experience.
Wherever Tiffany is going to be, she's not only going to Haddish, she'll had. Now, okay, this is the video. We'll discuss the video. In fact, I might not even play the full video because it's not necessary, but let me just play it, okay? She posted this to her stories, all right? Check it out.
Is there an ad before the post? What is that?
Y'all. So I'm out here in Zimbabwe, in Harare, and look at the grocery store. They got a grocery store. It's beautiful. It's beautiful in the grocery store. Look at these. Organic strawberries.
It's just strawberries. I mean, I guess they are.
They sell sugar cane, and it is fire. They got the dates on deck. How much are these? $67. Wait a minute. The price is different. But it do look like it's expensive. Look at this grocery store. It's huge. It's absolutely humongous. In Africa, baby. Yeah. Believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it. Africa. Zimbabwe.
All right, I'm going to stop it here because it's basically continuing of her showing surprise.
Zimbabwe.
Grocery store exists. So obviously this led to people who are very offended. This is reminiscent of that Learn More Janasi situation. Like, oh my God, what? You guys think Africa is all one big village with one traffic light, blah, 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 right? So Tiffany Haddish has been trending in Zimbabwe. Not just Zimbabwe, this is now global news, by the way. This is, like, I literally saw this on BBC. I'm not even kidding.
I did. I saw it too. And I laughed because I was like,
that's ridiculous.
That's how you had this, Tiffany. That is how you had it. When you do it big, girl. You do it big. That's right.
So, first of all, no one has signed me up to any NDAs, so this is on y'all. But from what I heard, she's here shooting Girls Trip 2. And
With who?
from what I heard, with people who are actually sticking to their NDAs. And
Wait. Okay, you need to tell me this off mic. What?
this is all okay. I don't know if I can 100% believe this, right? This is just
Because I'll have a lot of questions because Zimbabwe is not conducive for shooting any type of movie for a number of reasons.
my understanding is that they were shooting in Cape Town, but I don't know why there was a quick hop on over to Zim. Maybe
Because it's Zimbabwe. What?
yeah,
It's
Zimbabwe. So that. Anyway, that being said, my understanding is that her team or her people or whoever it is are quite upset that she is busy out here trending when it's all supposed to be super low key, which is quite funny to me. But anyway, that's not what the talking point is. The talking point is it's now become this huge discussion. I just want to play this skit because I think it's quite funny. This is someone reenacting what Tiffany Haddish is like in a grocery store in Africa.
Y'all, I'm in United States, in Illinois, and I'm at the grocery store. It's so beautiful, y'all. It's so beautiful, y'all. Wow. Organic strawberries. Wow. Favorite one, y'all. Peppers. $10.
What makes this funny is he's actually reenacting her body language, and it's hilarious.
Wow. It is so big. It's humongous. Wow.
Anyway, so this is interesting because it has ignited a huge chat, and a huge chat was going on in our Patreon group. So I would like to bring up some of the points that were raised in the Patreon group, Phil, if you will allow me.
Go ahead.
You see, so as you can imagine, some people are upset that Tiffany Haddish is making it see or coming in with a level of ignorance that we have come to expect from Zimbabweans. Someone then went on to point out her TikTok where she commented on someone who asked her a question in the comments. This person said, "Did you think we ate grass?" And she responded, "No, but the media had me thinking all of your foods are purchased in outdoor markets with goats and cows just hanging out, waiting to be slaughtered, with all kinds of smells and flies everywhere." This is hilarious to me because someone asked me today, "Nah, you guys don't get it. Tiffany was making fun of ignorant Americans who think like that." And then I showed her this comment and she was like, "Okay, cool. I guess she wasn't." First of all, I promise you I care so little about this. But because everyone's talking about it, let me just mention it, right? We know what Americans are. American exceptionalism is a term that has been coined to describe how, in general, Americans are very much unaware of the rest of the world except for America.
Speak on it, King.
The conversation in the group continued because once that comment was posted, people started discussing, well, someone said, she's not exactly wrong. Outdoor markets are where a majority of Zimbabweans do their shopping. Flies and livestock, that's the actual vibe. And people were saying, nah, but I mean, we got supermarkets here and and it led to a back and forth discussing about what's the actual situation in Zim. So some people mention, I'm not going to mention names from the group, right? But someone says, from experience, I'd pick Mbare Msika over the market in Mongomo, Equatorial Guinea. So fine, yes, we do have, essentially the point is, yes, we have open markets, but this whole thing of cows and pigs being slaughtered and flies, that's wrong. And then others respond with, a lot of places where they sell live chickens, they now slaughter and dress them for you whilst you wait. Buckets and buckets of blood and feathers. Right next to them, someone is selling groceries and hardware. Passed by a White House after Kwadzana recently, same setup. I want to take a pic. Others says, yeah, I saw somewhere where you buy goats for the in-laws, for the Rora, fake Air Force Ones, crate of black label lager, baby toys, maize meal, chibage, local spot for the Bauer, and the baddie, and with the baddies to go with it, tombstones, stolen Nokia X1s, everything. That spot had a lot. And then it led to a back and forth where people were discussing this. And I thought that, you know what, this is an interesting conversation that we can bring to the podcast. So first of all, American exceptionalism aside, I think it's pretty fair to assume that if it's a part of the world that is not part of the zeitgeist in general, you're likely not going to know what it's like. Phil, do you know what the market is right now in Chile? Where do people buy food?
Yeah. You just go down Guatemala Drive, past Che Guevara Street, and then pa left up. You meet Jose.
What do people do in Bolivia? Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously you don't know because it's never been in your immediate field of view. The only thing that you might be aware of is any reference that you might have seen in movies and whatever. So I somewhat expect people from America especially to not really be aware of what's going on. But I do think it's a little ignorant to be surprised that there's a grocery store. But if her thought was, I thought most of the people in Zim go to open markets. That's probably true.
It is probably true.
But why be surprised that a supermarket exists?
And that's where the thing is. So, and part of the discussion that we were having was, part of the discussion we were having in the group was there were some people who were adamant that this is ridiculous. It doesn't exist in Zimbabwe, especially the markets in West Africa and East Africa, whatever, do not exist in Zimbabwe. And I myself, because if you remember, Dan, for a year we partnered with an activation agency. I saw it myself. I was like, the informal market is huge. Like 70% of all products are sold in informal markets. And at the top end of an informal market is a tuck shop or a converted truck container, maybe a shack or something. On the flip side of it, it's literally someone in an open store or a cart, whatever, right? And this is not, it might be rare, right? And it's very possible that you can even be someone who stays in a high density suburb, never have to encounter anything similar to what she described. It might be slightly like it, but you know what I mean? But not to that. But there's an air of, in as much as you say American exceptionalism, I think there's still an air of Zimbabwean exceptionalism, which we've had for quite some time. Like that same, we're the most educated people in Africa. We're so well spoken.
Lies.
There's that Zimbabwean exceptionalism where I think people have not grasped just how bad things are in Zim, or just where things are on a grassroots level, as they say. And I joke of the fact that Pick and Pay was empty, but it's also empty because it's expensive because they sell in local currency. And the majority of people who are living on very fixed incomes, who have to count every cent, are making calculated decisions about, you know what, I can't afford this 1 liter of cooking oil. I'm going to the tuck shop where they decant that 1 liter into 200 mils and I'm buying that because I know that's going to last. You know what I mean? And I'm paying US dollar. Or they're going to these open markets to get food. So her surprise to me was shocking, not in that regard, because these places exist, is that did you, as Tiffany Haddish, the actress, whoever brought you in, I'm sure they gave you a brief rundown of what the country was like, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you understood the risk of it. If you're shooting a TV show, a movie rather, surely you can't afford to get sick in any form or fashion. So you're not going to go to a place where they have unsanitary food practices. They have unsanitary sewage, etc. So you knew that there would be nice, quote unquote, nice, comfortable parts of Harare that you would explore. The night before, you were in a club drinking verve, listening to dancehall and probably American music as well, in an environment not dissimilar to what you experience in America.
Yeah, but Phil, American music from 2012, to be fair.
But just downstairs, well, depending which way you came in, you would have seen the stores, you would have seen the supermarkets, you would have seen the fast food outlets. So, and I can understand why that person thought she was mocking, because my confusion is, you've clearly been here for at least a week, a couple of days, because we saw the Vic Falls post. When you're in Vic Falls, you clearly experienced Vic Falls. You went from wherever hotel you were staying, you went to the falls. You did not walk there. Some village member did not come pick you up barefoot and guide you through the bush with his pet lion. You jumped in a Land Cruiser, got transported from point A to point B. People were speaking to you in English. You ordered food. It came to your specifications. You clearly did not get sick or die from the food. So why are you now surprised a couple of days in that you're at a supermarket? That's why I'm just like, that's my confusion.
So,
that's like my only confusion.
Okay, so even further to that, right? So Tiffany Haddish is American, but her dad is Eritrean. So there was a big news story, especially around about the time Girls Trip came out and like the whole promo for it. She had gone on holiday to Eritrea. It was like her third visit, go visit her extended family, her father's extended family, etc., etc. So Tiffany Haddish has been to Africa before, multiple times. She has family that are currently alive and that she currently is in contact with in Africa. So she is not part of the exceptionalist Americans who have no idea what is going on outside America. She's been to Africa. She has family that lives in Africa. She's lived in Africa for extended periods. She didn't come to Africa to stay in a hotel. She came to stay with family in Africa, with her Eritrean family. So my point is, yes, Tiffany knew. Of course she knew. There's no way she didn't know that, of course, grocery stores exist in Africa. And in fact, even though I don't know what most people do to shop in Bolivia, I would not be surprised to see a supermarket there. Obviously, they would have a grocery store, even if that's not the way most people shop. I wouldn't be shocked to go there and see a nightclub or a restaurant, right? So I don't think she was shocked. I think she was trolling. I think she was looking for engagement. I don't think she was doing it in a way to mock Americans, but I think she was doing it in a way to somewhat mock Africans, but in a trolly way, i.e. I'm a comedian who does edgy stuff, ha 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 ha. And then, look at that, guys. Africa has a grocery store. It's nice. So to me, when I first saw that video, I was just like, Tiffany Haddish troll. Move on. She's trolling. She's not unaware, unless she is completely unable to tell that Eritrea and Africa and Zimbabwe, both in Africa, but probably have similar. Obviously, there's a grocery store in Eritrea. Maybe she never went to one. I don't know. Maybe they did open markets the whole time that she was there. It's possible. But the fact that she came in an airport, also, like you said, she was literally in a club the night before ordering bottles. What did you think those bottles were bought in an open market next to some goats being slaughtered? Then
that'll be a crazy market. Yo, I want to go to that market. So we have everything you need. We've got sneakers, we have goats, we have Vev Clicker. What do you want?
Hold on, let us just pour it into the bottles. I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. There's a lot of things about Tiffany that just make me dislike her as a person. But then again, obviously, I don't know her personally, just from the persona that she's put out there. But at some point,
but I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's a very clear point. When you're in the business where you live and die by people's affinity to you, when you're making a movie, right? One of two things happens, and sometimes a combination of both. When you're in the entertainment industry, one of two things happen, and sometimes a combination of both. I am going to support this person because they are brilliant at what they do. So whether they're a comedian, an actor, a singer, whatever, I'm going to support them because by gosh, these guys know how to do what they craft. They put on a show. Or two, I love this person so much, I'll die for them. I have to see them. I have to support them. I don't care if the movie is absolute garbage. They're my favorite actor. I'm gonna support them. Right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Is that a correct
Yeah.
sentence, Dan?
No, that's correct.
So if that is indeed the case, it's kind of a big problem when people don't like you and you're an entertainer, right? Like that'll be a problem, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just saying, it's kind of like being a rugby player with one leg. You know what I mean? It's not the best.
Wow. That's ableist, Phil. That's ableist.
Okay.
Then again, right? There are obviously people who do like her.
Huh?
There are
You
people.
telling me Lara Strong is making the rugby team in Westeros? Huh? Larry left foot on the flank.
When Tiffany Haddish first came on the scene in the mainstream, right? I didn't know her when she was doing her pedophile jokes, right? But when she was somewhat mainstream, at first I did kind of like her because I was like, yo, she's got this like weird sort of raw personality that's kind of funny. And then, very quickly that evaporated.
And
And I'm sure there's people who like that person, that whole very in your face, all right, y'all kind of personality that, I know she's got fans and there's people who like her. And, she's clearly getting gigs in Hollywood and whatever. It's just this trollish behavior just really puts, it's just like, But who knows, maybe Phil, in the next couple of days, I'll bump into her and have a conversation with her and be like, oh my God, she is actually just a wonder to speak to.
And
Completely
but also
misunderstood.
but that's the problem, right? Is if you live and die, for lack of a better term, on people who are never going to meet you, developing what you call that thing, parasocial relationship
Mhm.
with you, it does not bode well for you if, based off whatever reason, they just don't like you, or just based on
But Phil, we're working on our person and the people in our circles who would likely feel that way towards her. But I am sure there's people listening to this podcast right now who like Tiffany Haddish.
That is very true. I don't deny that, but I know for a fact it's not the same amount of people that she had when she did Ghost Trip. She systemically has done things that has alienated people for various reasons. Maybe it's the fact that she keeps going to authoritarian regimes and defending them, and then cursing out people when they call her out for it, even though they've experienced that trauma. She's done it more than once.
So anyway, moving on from this, because like I said, number one, I sincerely doubt this is a case of ignorance. It's not that she's ignorant. She knew. And even if she did,
if it's not ignorance, then it means that she's not funny.
Yes. I get everyone who's defended her by saying, guys, that's what most of Africa shops in. Your point is noted. The question here is, she was in Borrowdale. Well, wait, Arundel.
No, that was Arundel. I recognize.
Yeah, she was in Arundel. She was not in Kwamchecheche or something.
You know what I mean? If she had asked the driver, yo, take me to Highlands, take me to Merrick, take me to Mastones, you know what I mean? And she showed Mastones.
Why would you say Highlands? Why would you include Highlands in that?
Sorry, I mean accents. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, why Highlands in it?
But yeah, if she had gone to the ghetto and showed the ghetto as the ghetto, granted, I'd be like, a little poverty pornish, but at least it's the real deal. But don't be shopping where the 1% be shopping and be surprised that the 1% have a shop made for the 1%.
Also, to be fair, find the majority of Zimbabweans generally shop in informal setups. But you can't tell me that the majority of Zimbabweans aren't at least aware of supermarkets.
And
they absolutely are. They absolutely are. So everyone, whoever that dude is who wrote this whole thread about, no, this is why I'm going to show you percentages in Africa of, hey, why 60% of informal markets, what.
Dude,
yes, no one is denying that.
It's just engagement baiting. Like,
we are not denying that informal markets not only exist in Africa, but are the norm for the majority. The problem is she seemed to imply that she was shocked that there even existed a grocery store. Not that the majority of people shop in blah, 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 blah. right?
And
So the fact that a
that's the
grocery
thing
store
people are missing.
existed, and we have proven, ergo, quid erat demonstra, whatever that thing is. She knew that obviously there's grocery stores in Africa because she's been to Eritrea. She's, multiple times. The one time she stayed in a very fancy hotel. The night before she was in Pablo's. If there's a Pablo's, there's obviously a supermarket or a grocery store. In fact, she definitely would have seen it. But there's a flip side that I quickly wanted to address. And I'm aware of this because my wife, as some of you may know, she's not Zimbabwean. I have done her the huge favor of bringing her into this country.
Well done, by the way. Well done once again. Well done.
Thanks.
I'm sure our family thanks you every
I like
day.
to spread joy and positivity to as many people as I can, but you start with family. She said, I never actively thought about it, right? Because she lived in South Africa and she consumed South African media. She knew a lot of Zimbabweans because, let's face it, there's a lot of Zimbabweans in South Africa. But she was like, yeah, I mean, I just never actively thought about what Zim is. So sometimes when I'm here, I'll just be posting like photos of, oh, I went to a nice cafe. Oh, snap, look at this. This is pretty, da-da-da. Because I know that there's people in SA right now who are also not actively thinking that. They'll literally look at that like, there's nice cafes in Zim. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, I didn't expect that. And it's not that you sit and you think, I don't think Zimbabwe has nice cafes. It's just the thought doesn't ever cross your mind because the only time you ever come across Zimbabwe as a concept is people who ran away, who you're interacting with, or political violence in the news or something like that. So I can understand why someone would be like, guys, look at this. And it's not to say that I don't think there's grocery stores in Zimbabwe. That's probably not what she meant. I think she was like, you guys probably wouldn't think about this, but there's really nice grocery stores in Africa. I feel like...
but the way she went about it was totally different. And also, that's not what she did because in her comment, she said in her comments, I was trying to use humor to show my followers the beauty or the development in Africa, right? Whatever. I think that's a different thing to saying, yo, man, they have us thinking you guys have us thinking you guys are living like Tarzan out here, bruh. It's crazy, son. It was
crazy, yo.
Anyway,
let's move on smoothly while we're talking about this.
That's enough headishing for today, I think.
So, actually, this thing makes me sad, right? So, South Africa right now has one huge trending story.
Is it because of is it Gayton?
Well, Gayton has added fuel to the fire, right? But he's not the cause of the story, right? So here's the situation, right? So you will recall a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about Zimbabwe's contestants for Miss Universe, or for Miss Zimbabwe, who would be competing in Miss Universe, right? South Africa have also put forward their nominees for Miss Universe, or Miss South Africa. One of those nominees is a young lady by the name of Chidima. She is, as you can probably hear from her name, she is partly of Nigerian descent. I haven't done super huge research on her, but everything I've seen seems to indicate that she is recognized as a South African citizen. And the fact that she is able to qualify as a contestant for Miss South Africa means that someone did due diligence and checked her paperwork. So her paperwork shows that she is South African. Of course, just like many people who live in many parts of the world, there's a lot of different things that make us up. So Chidima herself, her father is Nigerian, I believe, and her mother is South African, but of Mozambican descent. So that's the situation there. Anyway, this obviously led to discussions from xenophobic South Africans who feel very strongly about the fact that, no, this is a Nigerian, she should not be representing us. Now, xenophobia has existed for a long time in South Africa, and on this podcast, sometimes we've made reference to it, but I don't think, I don't expect that our audience are people who are going to sit here and be like, yeah, no, but she must go, da-da-da. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that most of our audience have somewhat of a level of understanding that, hey, we're all citizens of the world. yes, to a certain extent, I do want to. I feel like condemning without understanding also contributes to the problem. So I'll have a few words to try and understand the problem. But on the flip side, it's so clear that there's a very strong culture of xenophobia in South Africa, and specifically not even xenophobia, specifically Afrophobia. The idea that citizens of other countries, them being here means they were here illegally, period. There's never a discussion about did they legally get here or not legally get here. And even if they're there illegally, it somehow moves to almost murderous intent, which is insane to me. Anyway, so here's the situation, right? So here's this South African, born in South Africa, by the way. She was born in Soweto, but her father is Nigerian. Her mother is South African, but of Mozambican descent. And many South Africans feel that she should not represent her.
Wait. So just to confirm, she was born where?
South Africa.
Oh, okay. I'm no expert on, I don't know what this is. Maybe anthropology, poli-sci, maybe even geography. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not really an academic or anything. What defines someone's nationality, Dan? Just to clarify. Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's ask ChatGPT, because we're always going to get the right answer from ChatGPT. Let me just ask ChatGPT, what defines someone's nationality? While ChatGPT loads, Dan, what do you think the answer would be?
So I actually know the answer to this because, believe it or not, I have been researching it recently.
I wonder why.
So one can be called a South African citizen through birth, i.e. if you're born in the country. She seems to have met that criteria. Through descent, i.e. one of your parents is South African. Again, she has met two criteria. Or through naturalization, which means you can apply for it, and if you meet certain criteria and so on, the government can then grant you citizenship as part of the country, which she doesn't need because she's already got it. So I do want to...
So just clear, you gave me three rules, or three main criteria.
Correct.
From your brief synopsis of the, I think she meets two of the three.
Correct. And even one out of the three will allow you to be called a South African citizen.
And also, you can't have three of the three because the first two would then negate the need for the third, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Cue confusion.
So, for example, I hope to one day acquire South African citizenship through naturalization by virtue of marriage. I know that shall cause problems for some very xenophobic South Africans. But ngoma ndio. So, okay, I feel like there's no point in us sitting here and discussing the basics, okay? The very obvious basics of xenophobia. But I do want to somewhat address what people say. So some people say, oh, so if a pregnant woman just goes to China and gives birth there, then now all of a sudden the child is Chinese. Yes. By law. Yeah.
There are some rules.
If a pregnant woman goes to China and lives in China and gives birth in China, and that birth is registered in China, that baby is Chinese.
Yes.
Now, of course, every country is going to have different laws on citizenship and so on. So some countries might have extra requirements for you to meet them or whatever the case is. But the point is, at some point, the law will recognize you as a legal citizen of that country if you've met the requirements. So it could be that in China, they might say, not only must you be born here, but one of your parents must be a resident, for example. I don't know what the laws in China are. I'm just giving random examples. If that's what they say, and those criteria are met, then by law, you are recognized as a citizen. So some people say, no, just because someone is born here, they shouldn't be a citizen. Well, that's not what the law says, right? So if the law says you're a citizen, the law outranks your opinion as Katlego who's sitting in your couch thinking whatever you're thinking, right? Other people have felt that her parents came in here illegally. How do you know?
Did you see one of the tweets that went viral was literally, so she's with her family, as you mentioned, and she has a sash that she's a finalist. And the caption for this tweet is, Chidima Adetira, the Nigerian imposter, and our Miss S.A. English is not these guys' language. No, it's punctuation. But anyway, in our Miss S.A., I'm assuming competition with drug dealing and human trafficking families celebrating their scam and how they scam the entire South Africa. Ma'am, do drug dealers have like name tags? Or is there like a shirt? Is there like a gang shirt that they wear? Like Nigerian, like, you know, like how LA gangs, you know, you got the red, the blue, blah, 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 blah. I am yet to know about this, because this is a new development to me. Did you know that Nigerian drug dealers have a uniform that makes them very clearly and easy to identify in a video?
It's news to me. I'm sure ZRP would love to hear about this. By the way, this has gotten so bad that not just one, but several change.org petitions have been put up. I'm glad to see that the first one was taken down. I was just checking it now because I wanted to see how many people have signed. And change.org clearly were like, yo, what the hell? This is clearly xenophobic. They took it down. Even the second one has been taken down.
I can't see the original tweet because I blocked Chris Excel a long time ago, because it's a weird account that's stolen someone's identity, always posts cack. But you know, the wild part is this. You've got a minister of sports culture,
Gayton McKenzie, who follows me on Twitter, by the way.
Was also
how do you make someone unfollow you?
Also hilarious, born in Zimbabwe, a scammer and colored. Hey, she's just
Well, I mean that's there's no way to 100% verify that, but that's the theory doing the rounds. By the way, I spoke to him.
I've met him.
Back, he was.
I've met him.
I've
met him. I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah. Here in Zim, actually.
Exactly.
For the record, back then he was really pushing. What tech thing was he pushing? There was some tech thing. I've forgotten what it was, but I was just listening to him. I was like, yo, the scams that this man is doing right now. Only to find out, he's the minister now. Well. Anyway.
So, and he was also good with your homie. Also, now my new hammer, but no names mentioned. We know, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah. I love like this once again, this is the minister. This is a government official. Not a spokesman, a government official. He has no information about this except a tweet, and a tweet from Chris Excel, a scam account. I just returned from Paris and will definitely get more information tomorrow. We truly cannot have Nigerians compete in our Miss SA competition. I want to get all facts before I comment, but it gives funny vibes already. Gayton, you dumbass mother. You just commented. Your tweet is a comment.
And the problem, here's the problem, right? If this was a good faith discussion, let's just say, and we know this not to be the case, but let's just say someone was saying, guys, I'm concerned about illegal immigrants in the country. Is it possible that we can check the papers of this person just to make sure that they're legal? If that was the conversation, right? We could have somewhat of a good faith discussion about what are the requirements for citizenship, etc. But that's not what this is at all. It's vibes, smells funny. You know how these Nigerians are. You know how these Zimbabweans are. You know how these Malawians are.
It's just dumb. Dan, you know what? Granted, some people obviously don't follow these rules, but just as a rule of thumb, you know, if I were in a country legally, or if I had a daughter that was a country legally, or if I could imagine myself being in a Freaky Friday situation, and I turned into a woman beautiful enough to compete and be a finalist in Miss South Africa,
I think you'd be a beautiful woman, Phil.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Yeah. You know what? Thank you. I really feel like I think but I'd be. I don't want to lie. Oh, I'd be busting.
Same, to be honest. You mean I would work? You mean I would have to work when I have womanly powers?
But that booty would be bootying. You know what I'm saying? The booty would be bootying. Anyway, back to reality. If I was a woman, you know, and I had dubious parentage, dubious papers, dubious documentation. The last thing I want to do is
Into an
be in a
international-
competition that has public scrutiny.
national and international competition.
Because like when if and when she won, you know what she'd have to do? She'd have to get a visa, which means she'd have to give them the passport. And when she gives people the passport at Home Affairs, they'll be like, "Wait a minute, this isn't a passport." Like, are you guys dumb?
But she was born there, guys. She was born.
This is my point. Like, it's, oh my God. You know what? But also, we're trying to make sense out of a nonsensical thing. And
that's true. So there's no point in us even having this discussion. There's no
racism,
way to make sense.
xenophobia, discrimination.
I do want, rather than condemn immediately, I want to try and understand before condemning. So
sometimes
I read
think sometimes going a bit too far. But okay, carry on. Yeah.
No, I understand. I completely understand, Phil, because it's like trying to say, it's like simply trying to say, I want to try and understand racist. To be honest, I do. I condemn it, but I do want to understand, how are you thinking and what is it in your mind that's making you think that way? Sometimes I'll never get the answer. Sometimes it's just hate. Maybe that's what the answer is. But in this case, I read a very, I was just scrolling here trying to find that thread and I can't find it anymore. But I read a very interesting thread on Twitter which described that it was basically equating the years of rhetoric, political rhetoric that certain political figures have been using to try and make sure that they get elected. But their rhetoric has been, can you see what foreigners have done to you? And they, in that thread, remember that video of, I hate foreigners. I hate foreigners.
Yeah, that BBC documentary, yeah?
There's literally people who've suffered the worst things you can imagine. And they've been told by people they trust that the reason you've suffered this is because of foreigners. With no context. That's it. And for years, all they've seen, felt, heard, and been told is that the reason and cause of your pain is these evil foreigners. Do you remember that Black Mirror episode where they were programming people to kill like these giant cockroaches, and it's only the one dude who eventually took off this mask and realized that, damn, these are just regular human beings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that. And obviously it was meant to be this kind of meta commentary on how this kind of rhetoric, when it is repeated over and over, it create in some people who've just never had the opportunity to think any other way, and they've found their communities who think the same, and they just strengthen and reinforce this broken mindset that foreigners are the cause of the problems here. If we just kicked out all the foreigners. Yes, I hear what you're saying about being born here. I hear what you're saying about I don't care about that. If we just kick them all out, just go and say that while you're in another country, our problems will be fixed. Of course, that's never going to happen. So they're never going to see how wrong their thoughts and ideas are. So Isusu, when we come with very strong words, what is wrong with you, you bigoted, hate-filled xenophobe? Person's like, yeah, it's okay. Say that from your country. It's like it's just you just can't get past this wall of hate that has been built brick by brick by this rhetoric and this angle that you've been forced to look in, or you've chosen to look in for so many years of your life, that all you see is foreigner equals evil, period. So now you see, again, in this thread, it was also mentioned that the fact that the mere fact that her name is Nigerian, the fact that she has a Nigerian name, is more important to these people than the fact that she was born. If she had a South African name but was born in Nigeria, they'd be less worried about it, which is wild. If her name was Boitumelo, but she was born in the streets of Abuja, it would have been less of an issue. Or at least that was the thinking.
Oh, Dan.
Anyway.
Okay, here we go. No, Dan. Let me run through some recent winners of Miss South Africa. Okay, just Rolene Strauss, Claudia Henkel, Megan Coleman, Zozibini Tunzi. Oh, we spoke about her. Liesl Tori, Tanzi Kotsir, Annaline Creel, Marilyn Ramos, Tatum Keshwa, Noktula Sitole, Bokang Montanje, Joanne Strauss. Strauss seem to be doing well in this competition. Joanne Ramagoshi, Lalela Mswane, Melinda Bam, Nicole Flint, Tamron Green, Amy Kleinhans, Natasha Joubert, Ndavi Nokeri, Ntando Nekosi Kunene, Peggy Sue Kumalo, Penelope Colleen. Anyway, we can go on and on. Dan, did you notice a theme, like a theme there with some of these winners?
Some watts.
A lot of them. That's why you guys are dumb. But
Jeez.
anyway.
Okay, come through. There's some baddies here. So I'm just scrolling through. So right now, obviously, we're waiting for who's going to be chosen to be Miss South Africa, right? We have finalists. I think 30 finalists. So I'm doing a quick scroll through the finalists. You know what? I don't even think, because a lot of people are raising that, okay, why do you have a problem with someone of Nigerian descent but not someone of European descent? I think there's no point in bringing that up, because these people clearly, this is not coming from a place of logic, or it's not coming from a place of, it's all coming from a place of,
But
this is the cause.
But to some of them it is because, and not to put them on blast, but this is kind of the argument I was having with It's Layered podcast guests. Remember when there was no show? And they had issues with Brook. And like, it's a spectrum, right? But on the quote unquote logical side of the spectrum is that, wait, why is a white woman representing Zimbabwe? But guys, she's a Zimbabwean. She has every right to represent Zimbabwe. She may not represent the majority, but she has every right to represent Zimbabwe because she's Zimbabwean. Because those are the rules and the paradigms we live under. Because we'll start there, maybe even in good faith, or because of the trauma of colonization or apartheid, etc. But then it's a short hop, skip, and a jump from that to, but why is someone with a Nigerian name representing South Africa? You see,
that could keep going, and no, but the majority of Zimbabweans are Shona. Why is Ndebele girl representing us?
You get what I'm saying?
Before you know it, you're down tribal lanes and so on. And also, the world is going to get more and more mixed. That's just the way it is. People are going to move to different places. People are going to have children with people from different places. More and more people are going to have multiple locations where they come from. Ask me. I'm descendant of multiple countries. First generation. That's what's going to happen. Are we sure that what we want is to have strong divisions? If you are from there, stay there. If you're from here, stay. Are you sure that's what you want? Are you sure that's the world you hope? Or maybe your issue is, and maybe it's a valid issue, maybe your issue is, in our area, there's a lot of illegal immigrants who would like that to be addressed. Maybe that's your issue. Okay? Maybe that's what you should be talking about.
But what does that have to do with the beauty competition? And that's the other thing.
Exactly. Take your anger to where it should be placed.
Let's walk and chew gum, and let's not conflate. They may very well be Nigerian drug dealers where you are. I can't speak to that reality. You might think, but not every Nigerian is a drug dealer, unless the person in that video sold you drugs. Then, if that's the case, I put my hands up and, oh, my bad. I don't know that was his game. But just like painting people with these brushes, it's ridiculous.
And meanwhile, Miss South Africa contestant Sherry Wang, not a peep has been said about her. Not that I believe a peep should be said. Truly, not a peep should be said. If she's a South African citizen, hold back all your peeps. But Sherry Wang, beautiful, Asian-looking. Clearly, she's of Asian descent.
So she's a beautiful Wang.
Yes. I wonder whose Wang she is. I wonder if anyone owns this Wang. And I hate bringing up these examples because it seems to almost imply, well, if you're going to say something about her, then you must also say something about... No. You should say so. If this was in good faith, guys, can we just, hey, we're interested in knowing if this person really is South African. And then Miss South Africa can come out and say, oh, yeah, we checked her papers. She's definitely South African.
But also, I think, and I don't know, have they? Because why are they leaving this poor person out to dry like that? Surely the organizers and the committee should have nipped this in the bud and be like, yo, guys.
They did put out a statement. a relatively weak statement, which basically said she met all the criteria to be representative. Something. Let me see if I can pull it up. Actually,
So they did leave out to dry, basically.
somewhat. But I mean, I guess I also see that they don't necessarily want to start stoking the fire. Imagine if she wins. They might be thinking
there's no way she's going to win now. It's impossible.
But imagine if she did.
It's impossible.
Miss South Africa would have more eyeballs on it than it's ever had in its past.
No, in South Africa, yes, but not globally. She just looked like another South African.
Like, the story's on BBC also.
It's then the people don't read. Someone from Zimbabwe and being white is very different from a black woman being from South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so
by the way, going forward, every time I now say Zim, I'm going to start saying like that, Zimbabwe.
And every time I say Ari, I'm like, Ari.
Literally, we should do that. Like for the next few times, like especially in public. Guys, I'm from Zimbabwe.
Actually, Crims, please extract those two words from Tiffany Haddish and we use them as drops.
I'm going to add them to the board. Crims, this is a task. Please don't forget. We need those drops. Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk very much about Zenophobe because I know all our listeners probably feel the same way. And again, condemning without understanding. Unfortunately, most of the people who probably feel this way are, ignorant, uneducated. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. We're going to have a chat with Mukudzei Mlambo to talk about...
Are we not going to talk about movies and TV, Dan, before we get to the music segment? Are you done?
No, I was just saying, so we're not going to take too long on some of these other stories.
Two quick teaser. It's going to be a teaser.
Yeah, it's just a teaser. It's throwing
forward. Forward sell.
Exactly. So, real quick.
So stay tuned. If you just tuned in, once again, this is Two Broke Twimbos. If you guys
don't touch that dial.
You've missed a scorch of a show. Why do like there's some podcasters that actually say that, and I'm always like, podcasts play from the beginning, right?
It's probably people who used to be on radio, and it's muscle memory at this point. So, okay. As you know, the Olympics are currently ongoing. I tried to watch the Olympics opening ceremony, but madam, after 20-25 minutes, madam was looking at me like, German, are you serious? I was like, you know what? Actually, you're right, because I'm not really enjoying this either. So what am I watching?
Did you not see? Did you see Lady Gaga singing in La Francais? Did you see? Okay, did you see Celine? Did you see Celine?
I didn't see Celine, but I saw an amazing black woman singing in French. I assume she's a black French woman singing.
So I loved it too. It just some got to me, and I don't think the French or the organizers really thought it all the way through. So, which is weird because France has a history with colonization. A lot of these countries, right? The athletics teams, a lot of black people. Did no one stop to think about the optics of having an Olympics in Europe where a bunch of black people are crammed on a boat and being shown off to the world, especially a crowd of white people? Do you know how crazy that looks?
It's been 400 years. Get over it, man.
No, the wild, especially Team America with the LeBron front and center, and just cause there's black people everywhere, like black Americans especially. Guys, it's a black American on a boat.
Do you know what was hilarious though? The African teams were majority white. What the hell? Did you not like Eswatini, the whole team?
I've got nothing bad to say about Eswatini. I'm going to be there this weekend. I love Eswatini.
No, nothing bad whatsoever. It's just funny and ironic. Anyway, that was the opening ceremony was interesting, but obviously the huge talking point from the opening ceremony, that's what I wanted to address. So if you're unaware of what's going on, well done for staying on the good side of the internet. If you are aware of what's going on, unfollow Elon immediately. What's wrong with you? You'll still see his posts anyway, I suppose. So part of this opening ceremony.
I'm so glad I'm off Twitter. Like, granted, I check Twitter periodically, but Dan, there's so much, like my brain is
Vitriol.
I have so much clarity these days. So much productivity. So much productivity. Anyway, carry on.
I envy you. So, obviously the Paris Olympics committee, whatever, they did their thing and they organized this opening ceremony that included performances and some kind of performance scene or piece, which many people took to mean some kind of religious iconography. In fact, what they felt was it was a scene of Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, which famously depicts Jesus Christ and his disciples at the Last Supper. And what they did is they felt that it was being made a mockery of. And rather what they were depicting was the same scene, but with drag queens and a transgender model and a singer who was dressed up as the Greek god of wine, Dionysus. And people were outraged. They felt like this is a clear dig on Christianity. Why I wanted to address it is because while I can't 100% know for sure all the intentions, what the organizers said were like, oh, no, that's not what we were doing. What we were doing is trying to reenact a painting that features the Greek god of wine, Dionysus. This is the painting that we were doing. And they showed that that's literally what we're doing. It's a painting of a bunch of different gods from different cultures. And that's what we thought it would be, like a whole, inclusion and diversity and different cultures are welcome here. That was the whole idea behind this. And then they said, sorry, we were not trying to insult the Last Supper. Mm-hmm. So I did want to put that out there. Of course, I know that, people will still continue to have opinions that, they did know what they were doing or they didn't. And I can't know for sure if they did or they didn't. All I do want to say is be aware of the full story, which is they were trying to or at least they claim they were trying to reenact something completely different to what you think it was. Yeah. Also, if you find that you're on the same side as Andrew Tate,
always think twice. Just always think twice. Like if you find yourself agreeing with Shaddai, just
hold on. What were my thoughts? Like, also another thing, if you find women saying or calling you a real man, just pause for a second. Like, hold on. What have I just done that made all these women say, now that's a real man over there? Because you might be a chump.
Mm-hmm. It's like driving in a ride this past few weeks. Sometimes you'll find yourself driving and lo and behold, there's a cinder block right in front of you. You have to stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, what turn did I miss?
Did I miss a sign somewhere? Have I failed to read the situation?
You know what I mean? Like there must have been a yellow sign that said road closed somewhere. Let me double back. Let me just retrace my steps and see where I may have made a left when I should have gone right. That's what we're gonna say. You know what I mean? We're not saying you're wrong. We're just saying
for the record.
Self-reflection is important.
For the record, if it indeed was a reenactment of the Last Supper and was meant to mock Christianity, I would think that it's right that they apologize and come on and say, listen, sorry, our bad for offending you. Because obviously there's people who be offended about their religions. But I don't think that's what they were doing, right? So anyway, for what it's worth.
So yeah. I'm trying to get into the Olympics, but I've got no time.
I've also been honest with myself. I'm not gonna.
I've been trying to catch the highlights. Also, anyway, it's okay. I'll see. Anyway, let's talk about Dr. Doom. Oh, sorry. Do you want to continue on this? Do you want to say something else, Dan?
Yes, that was the next thing. So, all right, okay, guys, we're getting into our nerdy bag.
Let's first and foremost, let's say, you know what? I've seen, as a Zimbabwean, I've seen many failed policies enacted. I've seen many bad decisions, and how they affect the community. I've lived through multiple collapses. And I think the collapse of the MCU is something to be studied and no pun intended, marveled at. Because how bad are things gone that the man who was literally taking up 10% of your budget at a certain point in time because his contract was that lucrative, That was your last option. Like, you know what? Okay, you know what? This guy's dead, but listen. And he was tired. He said, "Guy, I'm tired of these Marvel movies. I want to do some artsy fartsy." Have you seen the movies Robert Downey Jr. has been doing since he killed himself as Iron Man? Art house.
I mean, he got an Oscar for Oppenheimer.
That's what I'm saying. But he's been doing the arty art stuff. Arty. So you know Disney threw the bag and then some. I think Robert Downey Jr. probably owns 50% of Disney at this point in time. That's probably how they got him. Like we need to have a look at that contract. But why on earth, like when faced with all this, did you think that you know what the Marvel fans go to the movies for? They go to see Robert Downey Jr. But no, not only do they go to see Robert Downey, they go to see Robert Downey Jr. as a masked character with an altered voice. Unless in this version, Dr. Doom doesn't have the altered
Okay,
voice.
wait. Okay, before you go far, Phil, you're already responding before you even told the story. And I think I have a different view to you.
No, but that's why you're here. I'm here to just rant and go on my
Sure.
ADHD.
So let me just say what the story
to
is.
steer the show, you know.
I feel like the average person wouldn't know this. It's only the nerds who are paying attention to the news coming out of Comic-Con. So
We promise women talk to us. We promise. By the way.
if you'll recall, the next big bad following Thanos, who was played, by the way, by Josh Brolin, the next big bad in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was meant to be Kang the Conqueror, a huge villain in the comics who was played by Jonathan Majors. But of course, Jonathan Majors had to go and fumble the bag. So now Marvel are replacing him with the next big bad in Marvel being Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is probably one of the most, if not the most iconic villains in Marvel history. So everyone is very excited about Dr. Doom. Now at San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel came out and they put out a few exclusive pieces of exclusive trailers for upcoming projects, including things like the Thunderbolts and including Captain America, the new Captain America that's coming out. But they also made a huge reveal where they played a short snippet of the upcoming Fantastic Four film, which will be starring Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, which will be starring Vanessa Kirby, I think, as Sue Storm, and some other assorted white people to play the other characters. Very excited. People are like, yo, the Fantastic Four is probably just as, if not more iconic than the Avengers. The only group I would say are more iconic than the Fantastic Four is probably the X-Men. So everyone's super excited about this huge Marvel team that's about to come to the silver screen. Then, in a huge twist, Dr. Doom came up onto the stage and revealed under the mask that it was none other than Robert Downey Jr., the man who played Iron Man all the way back in 2008 in the first MCU movie, Iron Man. And since then has played the most pivotal role in the entire Infinity Stone saga, all the way up to his death at the end of Endgame. All right? So now you're caught up to the nerdy news. So the internet is mostly melting down because, damn it, Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man. Why would he ruin his legacy by coming back as a completely different villain, a masked villain? Why is he coming? That's the general feeling, as Phil has just ranted. But I have a different viewpoint. Number one, firstly, we know next to nothing. We know next to nothing. All we have is a reveal that RDJ will be playing Dr. Doom. Just the same way that we had a reveal that, what's his name from The Office? Jim from The Office?
Yeah,
Jim from The Office was...
Jim Halpert.
Yeah,
Jim Halpert. Jim Halpert,
that Jim Halpert was playing Mr. Stretchy Man from Fantastic Four.
Well, he was... No, only in the cameo, but not in the thing.
But when the news first leaked that he would be playing Reed Richards, we were like, oh snap. And it was because it was a fan casting for a long time. Like a lot of fans were saying he'd be an amazing Reed Richards. He's got the right age profile. He's got the right look. He'd be amazing as Reed Richards. But he had a cameo appearance of a few seconds as Reed Richards. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with RDJ. All I'm saying is we're at the stage right now where we know nothing. Is he the main villain? Is he just a cameo appearance? Is he just... we don't know. So let's relax.
Wait.
Let's relax, firstly. Secondly, remember, Phil, we are in the age of the multiverse. So I believe I have a theory. I didn't get this theory from anyone. I haven't even watched Eric Voss yet on this. My theory is, because I don't know if it was Kevin Feige or whoever came out and mentioned that Tony Stark is, I believe they called him an anchor being. Meaning in every universe he is a pivotal nexus being in that universe where whatever he does is hugely influential to the fate of that universe. My theory is that to fight the real Doctor Doom or to fight Galactus, I believe actually is going to be the main big bad of this Fantastic Four movie. They're going to try and go into another universe to try and find people to help, and then they come across Tony Stark. He's a hero. He became Iron Man in our universe. Meanwhile, he is evil and is a version of Doctor Doom, and he betrayed. I bet you he's going to have a small role. And even if he has a big role, we still don't know. And what? We don't know yet. So let's calm down on the outrage and the meltdown. I get it. I also agree. It looks like they're going for nostalgia because it feels like they were sitting in a boardroom. Guys, but whenever RDJ was in the movies, they did well. So we should bring him back. But I would like to believe that after 20 years, 16 years of making MCU movies, Kevin Feige and team have an idea of which what I would like to see is something crazy they tried that flopped. That would make me happy because at least you tried something and it flopped. I don't believe they're just like, we have no ideas, let's just bring a famous actor back. I find it very hard to believe that's what's going on.
Then, okay. I would love to believe that. The pessimist and the skeptic in me struggles to believe it for a number of reasons. One is we've seen the boardroom drama at Disney, right? We've also seen the quarterly results at Disney. Disney is kind of like DEFCON 1 crisis right now, especially with Disney Plus flailing in the wind. They're losing money on Disney Plus. Their flagship brands that they spend billions on, Star Wars, Marvel, are not really generating the interest that they expected, or especially Marvel. Marvel has been able to maintain the momentum at the peak of the poster behind me, right? The Endgame saga. They've just had to pretty much scrap. Lord knows how much money they've had to lose with scrapping the Kang timeline, because they may not have shot a scene, but writers were paid, storylines were developed, costumes were designed, and prototypes were made. That's millions, if not tens of millions of dollars just having to be flushed down the toilet. We've joked about how many times the new Captain America movie has had to be reshot and re-edited, and and how the delays in the movie caused issues with the distribution of the toys, which revealed that Red Hulk was coming. So there's a lot of stuff there, right? I don't think... Oh, by the way, they also bought Lucasfilm. So Indiana Jones, which also just flopped, it's Disney. So Disney's big major franchises are not doing well. So my experience has taught me, when you have that much invested, your risk tolerance is really low because you can't afford not to. You just have to try and figure out how to steady the ship. And I don't think it's unfair to say that Disney has kind of been a little rudderless, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, right? So bringing back Robert Downey Jr. within itself and revealing him at Comic-Con, to me as a nerd and a fan of the series, is disappointing for a number of reasons, because the only reason you're doing that is to generate talking points, which we're talking about now. So maybe they've succeeded. But is it going to convince me to go watch the movie? No. Also,
I'm watching it regardless. So.
No, but the difference there is, and we've discussed it before, is, am I going to the cinema to go for the cinema experience, or am I going to wait for it to get on VOD? Like, and nowadays, like Bad Boys is now on VOD. Like I opened my Netflix. Bad Boys is now on VOD.
Oh snap! All right, looking forward to that. Well, okay. I get your point.
So
Phil,
my point is, right, with all that, right, as a fan of movies, as a fan of the series, now as a nerd, like I think if I were doing market segmentation, right, there's your primary first audience who are the super nerds who are going to buy all the merch, support you regardless, whatever. I'm kind of tier 2 where I'm kind of float in between, right? I'm going to buy some of the merch. I'm going to watch some of the movies, but I'll consume most of the content, right? I'm not easily swayed, but like this does not make me want to go watch the movie because in my mind I'm like, why am I having to watch Robert Downey Jr. come back to a role he said he didn't want to play? It may be a different world because we know that the Fantastic Four movies is not in World 616. It's going to be in another universe. Dr. Doom is obviously the arch emesis of the Fantastic Four. But why in that universe is that version? I am not familiar with any comic series, and maybe you've done the reason, you know, where a variant of Tony Stark became Dr. Doom. I'm not familiar with that.
There is a comic series where that happened, where Tony Stark literally becomes Dr. Doom, but it's so obscure and it was never popular. There's almost zero chance that that's the storyline that they're focusing on. So I saw some people saying, "Oh, they must be talking about this one." It's like, bro, they're definitely not.
And that's to bet on it. So that kind of proves my point. It's just like it feels like y'all are out of ideas.
Okay. To be fair, but Phil, you are coming from a nerdy perspective. Marvel became a hit not because of the nerds. The nerds were going to watch the movies anyway. Marvel became a hit because of the casuals. And I think this will sway
No, Dan. From a marketing perspective, the nerds were the early adopters. Without the early adopters, there is no mass market. The nerds are what drove the culture and drove the interest. And Marvel became a multi-factor thing where you literally just said this in that chat we're having in the group, the Game of Thrones chat, where there's multiple tiers, right? It's like a pyramid almost. And at the top of the pyramid are the people that are there.
Before you refute it, let me make my point. Make my point. Okay. So I agree with you. The nerds are the early adopters. And it was because of the nerds at first that things like Iron Man back in 2008 and The Incredible Hulk, which is an honorary member of the MCU, I guess, and all those movies that came out back in 2008 and then 2010, etc., those started growing and then eventually became massive hits because it started with interest from nerds. But by the time we've reached 2024, the greatest driving force, I believe, is overall pop culture and not just the nerds. So I can understand a rollout strategy or a marketing plan that takes into account the casuals. Will the casuals be swayed by this big announcement that RDJ will be there? Maybe, maybe not. I honestly don't know if they absolutely
not only that. I think. Oh, sorry. Finish your point, then I'll count. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What I was gonna say is, could it possibly be this marketing strategy that the first thing that we reveal about the Fantastic Four is Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Dr. Doom, and it makes everyone go insane? Some people saying this is a genius move, other people saying this is terrible, and it becomes a huge talking point for several weeks before we reveal the next thing, which is, well, no, actually, he's just coming in a memory. The real Dr. Doom is blah, blah, blah.
Dan,
or da-da-da-da, or anything.
Are you telling me you won't be annoyed by that? Like, you won't feel scammed by that?
I will feel annoyed, but we are still at the stage where, chill, we don't know. Anyway, so just to your point about Disney and Marvel, I did want to respond to that as well. So, yes, Disney owns Marvel. And at a very strategic level, the decisions at Disney about finances and so on are going to happen across the group. But I don't believe that Disney is making decisions about plot lines for Marvel. I believe the decisions are going to be about budgets that are allowed, about overall strategies, but plot lines, story, content, all of that is going to be at MCU level, which we know is under Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige almost has godlike control as to what is going to happen. And Marvel, in general, three of their movies in recent years have had losses, small losses. That's Black Widow, Eternals, and Quantum Mania. Quantum Mania is minute.
Wait, and also are you measuring losses as gross box office revenue versus budget, or are you looking at the actual?
So this is literally Disney net spending according to their. This is from a Forbes article. Disney net spending according to their company financial statements versus box office takings global.
But also keep in mind, box office, the only of box office, the distributor / studio will only retain between 30 and 40% of box office.
Yes. So I mean, I'm working with Forbes' calculation. I'm not doing the calculation here. So what they're doing here is they're doing profit. They're basically calculating profit, and then in brackets underneath they're giving where they got their figures from. So I get what you're saying in terms of not all the money that comes in from gross box office goes to the studio. Some of it goes to in fact, a lot of it goes to local. But I'm sure that has been taken into account in these calculations. In general,
I don't think so, because a lot of that is proprietary. Because as someone who worked in it, I know that it varies from region to region and from
Phil, do you know better than Caroline Reed, the senior contributor to Forbes?
Probably, considering Donald Trump impersonated his own assistant and called in Forbes.
Anyway, my point is, recently I said 3. Actually, it's actually 4. 4 of their recent movies have had losses: The Marvels, Quantum Mania, Eternals, and Black Widow.
So that's 4 of how many?
Because I think Black Widow was actually Black Widow was a good one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So 30%.
Yeah.
That's on gross revenue. We don't even know what the net is. So, and keep in mind,
but these are comparatively, except for the Marvels, really minorish looking losses compared to the huge looking profits that some of these other ones did. So anyway, the point I want to put across is, I think Marvel might be getting a little worried because, the last few movies haven't done as well as they could have. Plus we have this whole issue with Kang, but I think they have such a strong sort of brand affinity at the moment. All they need to do is just chill out. We just have to put up. And for example, Deadpool and Wolverine is set to become, I mean, that's going to be a Billy plus.
Of course, but I think deservedly so.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm looking for it.
Dude, avoiding spoilers. It's been easy now that I'm off Twitter.
They're everywhere, Phil.
But the spoilers on YouTube, I've had to block so many words.
I've made Taz watch Deadpool 1 and 2. So we're now ready. We're not going to watch it. We're not going to watch it.
How did she take some of those scenes in Deadpool? Did you take that birthday scene and was like, there's an idea?
I don't want to reveal our own private issues. reveal private situations. What's for?
Oh, Daddy, you're so inadvertently funny.
Anyway, so my caution to
Dan
everyone is...
all we can say is Dan might be working hard for that.
All I'm saying, guys, is let's not panic. Let's relax. I get it. I'm also not immediately thrilled with the announcement. I'm intrigued, and I'm definitely going to watch the movie. But really, you guys are going to go with RDJ? He was done. It made sense. It just made sense.
So you agree with me then,
But I'm willing to say we have too little information for me to have a strong opinion yet. But let me wait for more information.
So, right.
Who knows?
At this point,
maybe next week, Phil, I'll be coming here and saying, but Marvel, Tinyado.
Okay.
For now, I'm saying, guys, all right.
The marketing me is struggling because, the point I was trying to make is this. Right. Who determines pop culture? Excuse me. Pop culture, first and foremost, at the forefront of pop culture are the annoying superfans. They're the one that spread the news, the information. They give you the analysis. So we just got out of this beef with Kendrick Lamar. The annoying super nerds were the ones who are delving deep.
What's the dirt?
You know what I mean? Ah, dude, there's an even bigger one. I don't know if you saw it. I watched it this weekend. It was actually a really great take. Did you watch the KD video?
No.
Oh, I'll share it with you. There's a 3.5 hour breakdown of the beef. No,
although yeah. Anyway,
it's a retrospective, but it is so. And those are the people, like the people that delve deep into that. And his summary of everything was so complete. There's a professor that I follow. I recently came across who broke it down. They gave such an amazing breakdown. I actually wanted to write an article on it. I was like, these guys have covered everything I wanted to say. And they explain it with nuance. They explain the cultural issues that I've always had. They explain what it means to try and defend a culture, have boundaries within a culture. It also exposes the hypocrisy and the self-righteousness in hip-hop. It also, like, even as this crazy joke where he's like, there's a shot he takes at Drake fans where he's like, if Drake is your favorite artist, you are probably the most annoying person that your friends know. Like, you are devoid of any inspiration. But then he also says,
to be fair, Kendrick fans are also,
and he's also like, and he's also like, and the problem with Drake is so not hip hop. He missed the most obvious joke that he could have destroyed Kendrick with this. He's a fucking hotep. Why did you not ever bring up that Kendrick is a hotep?
That's what he was trying to do with his rapping, like trying to get the slaves freed, but he completely missed on that.
Yeah. So, point being is the super nerds are the ones that do it. Like the Taylor Swift fans. Those are the ones that send out the instructions on how to stream and get it to number one. Those are the ones that tweet all the like intricate minor details. And some of those intricate minor details get picked up by the bigger platforms like Pop, Crave and whatnot, because they all, oh, this is interesting stat. This will generate interest, right? But sometimes it's those super fans that are the ones drilling down, checking the numbers, etc. That being said, it's also the super fans that created the law. It's the super fans that necessitated the creation of new rock stars. It's the super fans that helped new rock stars grow. Super fans like you who would see a new rock stars video and share it with someone else and be like, yo, I really like what this guy did. To the point now where new rock stars is not just for super nerds. New rock stars is just for fans of pop culture because they've grown so much, right? Mm-hmm. It's like same thing with Alt Shift X. Like Alt Shift X, the reason why Heavy Spoilers, for example, has a breakdown of an episode of House of the Dragon the moment it's done airing is because HBO realized these guys are driving incredible amounts of traffic to us. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to build relationships with them, give them the episodes 2-3 days early so they have enough time to script their breakdowns. And by the time our show drops, immediately people can have the breakdown ready because it's just going to create this feedback loop, right? In that same respect, if those same super nerds who are at the foundation of the culture, who are at the foundation of your brand, who have built the billions, because without them, the random casual fan who's not going to watch all 20 Marvel Phase 1 and 2 movies, but it's just going to pop in here and there because they've got a brief summary. Or they don't have the time to watch all 20, but they'll go to Heavy Spoilers or they'll go to Screen Crash or they'll go to New Rockstars and watch the 20-minute summary video and they're like, okay, I'm fairly caught up with what's going on. I'll understand what's going on in the movie, but I'm going to watch the movie. If those guys aren't advocating for you, if they're not excited, if I, the person who watches them and sees myself as a super fan like them, is not excited, how then do you continue to be popular in pop culture? And that's my point. At this point right now, you make it seem so Kevin Feige built this amazing thing and all credit to him, but he's a human being. And we seem to forget that in all arcs, in most of the tales and experiences we've had, everything rises and eventually it falls. And it seems that Kevin Feige has stretched himself a little too thin with the amount of quantity he's been creating, and now he's in scramble mode. It's okay to say Kevin.
True.
Because
It
two
might
things
be
can be true.
Phil.
Kevin Feige
Yeah.
can be an amazing executive producer and an amazing visual, conceptual designer. He may have been great for the vision of the MCU, but it could also be he's the reason that it's starting to collapse because, like, I'm not.
I'm
interested in
saying,
watching
Phil,
these things.
that could be true, but all we have, because we haven't even seen the footage, by the way. It's only the few people, the nerds that were at Comic-Con. There's no footage. All we have is grainy pictures of people who are there posting these photos of Robert Downey Jr. coming out as Dr. Doom. So let's hold on. Maybe what you're saying is all true. It's very possible, and it could very well be. It could very well be that this is the end of the MCU, but all we have right now is a single announcement that could mean so many different things. So my point is, all right, Kevin Feige it's true, he could be the downfall, but I feel like he's bought enough trust in me to be like, all right, let me see what you're trying to cook. Let me see what you're trying to cook. I'll give it a moment. That's all. I'm just going to give it a moment and then we'll see.
No. I like I said, I'll watch it, but I'm not inspired.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Let's wrap it up. Phil.
In fact, wait, Jen. There's two things actually. There's two
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Okay. I see.
Make
you
it
wrote down.
make it snurpy.
Make it snurpy. I was gonna say, prayers up for Deleuze. I discussed it in the Patreon group. It was a little weird. Like on Saturday night, Google Photos was showing me photos that I took of Deleuze when I was at his house a while back. Then I woke up to Sunday with news that he was in hospital because he suffered a stroke. And then today there seems to be news that his family are trying to source donations to help with his medical bills, which is saddening because it doesn't look like he had medical aid. But also there was a bit of a discussion of people surprised that he would need support. And yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I just right now, I hope he's okay. I hope he heals. I'm treading carefully because he's always been good to me. And yeah, I want us to be responsible with our platform. So prayers up to Deleuze. Hope he heals up. Yeah, it's a bit sad, but yeah. One day we'll have the discussion. I don't think now's the time or the day for the discussion I wanted to have. And so I said, I'm trying to tread carefully because I don't want to engage in gossip mongering and stuff. But yeah, one day we'll have the discussion. Today's not the day.
All right, that's fine. The other thing, just in episode of Being Outside, I was at Tammy Moyo's exclusive album listening party.
I was about to say. We saw you in the recap video. I guess my invite got lost in the mail.
Funny enough, lots of people kept asking me, "Where's Phil? Where's Phil?" I was like, "Hey dog, you gave me the invite. I don't know." Anyway, she's got a new album out called Bold. Is it just Bold or it's something bold? I can't remember if it's something bold or just bold. But so we listened to some of the joints. She didn't play all of them because apparently there's some secret collaborations she doesn't want people to know about quite yet until she releases the album. But she did play some of the songs, including the one that she released today. By the way, the day we're recording is a Tuesday. She just dropped the official single and video for GPS, Ndokwatwenda or Kwatwenda, something like that. Which I think is going to be a banger for her because it's like a dancehall vibe. It's a dancehall anthem type thing. And, people really responded well to it at the listening party. She also had a very interesting Afro tech vibe song that she played that I was like, I want to hear that one again. So it's going to be interesting. I think she's mixing up some sounds. So we'll be keen to see when the album finally fully drops. But yeah, it was an interesting time out. We had some celebrities all around us as well, Phil. Hobnobbing with the who's who. But yeah, I feel like I don't have enough stories to really talk about. It was the album listening session. We listened to a couple of songs. Some of them sound interesting. We'll be keen to see when the album drops. Yeah, it was cool. That's pretty much it. We're going to get into our music segment. And for our music segment, we have a special. We actually recorded a little bit earlier, but we chatted to Mukudzei. Those of you in our Patreon group will be familiar with him because he's in there sharing his thoughts. You know what to do, man. And and then he's behind Storytellers of the Culture II, the second compilation album in the series that features some of the hottest, underground MCs, up-and-coming rappers, people who are actually beginning to get hot, some of them who are actually already kind of hot. And he's also working with some of the coolest and most exciting producers as well to put together some stuff. So check out our chat with him as we listen and sample some of the music. And, yeah.
And then we're going to drop that into the main episode, you know? So we just going to start from scratch, just like get into it, you know what I'm saying? And then we get in the music segment of the real podcast. That's when we drop you in, you know what I'm saying?
Crims, keep all of this. Crims, keep all of this. Crims, keep all of this.
Wait, I'm not recording. I haven't started recording.
I've got your audio from my side. Crims, I'm going to send you the files. Keep all of this.
Yeah, I'm not recording. All right, look. So before we even talk about the music, right? Is this in this world of algorithms, right? In this world of algorithms, you know, something can seem like the biggest thing in the world to you, right? And then everyone else has no idea what you're talking about. So I'll tell you what, my algorithm, Elon has been feeding me Dennis, Denzel, Mukudzei, Raykaz. So as far as I'm concerned, the whole world has been doing nothing but talking about Storytellers of the Culture II. Like, yo, this is the only thing that anyone cares about at the moment. But I'm not like, this is, you know what I mean? This obviously there's fans and there's people who love this, and I think you've got more listeners now than you did previously, but it's not yet mainstream, you know what I mean?
At all.
Yeah.
At all. I think my intention was purely that. I was just like, let me see if I can paint the timeline orange. That's all. Like, I'm very self-aware and conscious of my standing as far as the music that we put out, because the charts on Spotify and Apple are not gonna lie, bro. They're not gonna follow the tweets. So I'm very aware of who's listening and, you know, where the music is right now. But I'm glad you came across it enough. You know, I was very insecure about this album, man.
Actually, it's time. I
need to understand. You know, that
I need to unfollow Dennis.
When you are a patron, you know what I mean? We reward our patrons, even subliminally. The algorithm, Elgo's rhythm knows. In fact, let me just log into Patreon. Let me just, you know what? Actually, Dan, you know what? I invited him onto the show. I didn't even check if he's up to date. Hold on. You know what? This could be an awkward moment. See, this,
well,
we've laid the trap. Well, if you want this episode,
only because you're about to, right?
If you want this interview to air,
how much?
You know the monthly fees.
I've been. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. Being back in Zim has not been kind to my wallet.
I know. You're back in Zim, all right. So never mind.
So okay, I think that there's many places we can start, but in fact,
let's start with the introduction.
Okay,
yeah.
How are we introducing you? That's the other thing. Like, are we introducing by a government name?
Phil, what is the CNN? Hey, look, Mukudzei Mlambo, best known for being a Two Broke Twimbos patron, but the other thing that he's known for is being the guy who's put together the Storytellers of the Culture, 2 compilation albums. I don't know if that's even fair, but yeah, 2 compilation albums. He's just released the second. Him and his team, let's say, have just released the second edition of that. And like I already mentioned, my timeline has just been full of conversation about that, and for good reason, man. I sampled that album and I was like, "Yo, there's some bangers on here," and there's some others that are like, you know, they just need a bit more work, and they're almost there.
Yes, sir.
Like, yo, that Paint a Fresco dude. Oh, that joint.
I hit him up today. I was like,
Yeah, that joint needs a video, man. That joint is crazy.
Anyway, yeah. So obviously we were going to talk about the music, but we figured we may as well get Mukudzei Mlambo, aka Mr. Zazi Say himself. I think we had you as well when you first dropped the first one, right? Yeah.
Yep. You did.
Yeah, so we're happy to continue that. Listen, can you see the benefits of being a Two Broke Twimbos patron? You know what I'm saying?
Even when you're behind on payments, you know what I mean? We look out for you. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, this is a very forgiving government, man. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Nah,
honestly.
But so,
which is another reason as well, Phil, I didn't email you the album. I was like, yeah, this is awkward because back in the motherland, and I was like, I am not entitled at all. At all.
No, okay, so you didn't want my opinion or nothing. Okay.
No, I did. Trust me, I did, man. I did.
There we go. Sorry, don't mind me. It's just
listeners. Dan fell off his chair. I don't know what the heck was going on over there. It was just very weird, unprofessional.
The laptop stand was uneven, so the laptop kept. I was like, what the hell?
Very
adjusting.
No, man, dude. Ultimately, listen. Life is life. Trust me, we understand that.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if Dan and I wanted to be things, sometimes once in a while, I'll just look at the. I'm very well aware of which patrons are paying and which ones are not. And then whenever I feel like they're getting too loud in the Patreon group,
you'll be happy to know that there's a big group of you.
And whenever I feel like they're getting a little too loud in the Patreon group, I just nudge them like, "Hey, how you doing?" Those opinions you are sharing, they come at a cost.
Yeah.
No, so sometimes people have had to leave or willingly. Sometimes we've had to ask them to, because sadly there's also been instances of people who like game the system, so that like they'll pay once and then they'll leave and they think we won't know. Like I see the report every month. I know, I know who's by my one and who's just trying to teach it. You know what I mean? So, but that's one thing. But back to the music. I mean, those are two separate things. Like, I'm a hip hop head, so I really enjoy this, and it had me getting into an internal dialogue that I think we'll discuss later. But just to note it, where it's like hip hop is my first love, hip hop is my passion, but especially in this market, hip hop badar, and it's a weird thing is when you start to like, and you see it when I was young and naive, I used to like look down on the people who started in hip hop and then left to do other things. Because I'm like, yeah, you guys aren't serious. And now I'm kind of becoming that person too. Because like even when I was listening to your project, I was listening to it as a fan, but also like, you know what, I see what you're doing, but I would have done it this way. Oh, you know what, this would have worked if I would have done it like this. And then sometimes you're like, but that's not really hip hop. But then it's that catch-22. Like, are you trying to make a hip hop album or are you trying to make hits? You know what I mean?
So I'm still at the naive stage as well. I'm still very. Oh yeah, it's about the culture. I'm giving back. And all splits go to all the artists. I don't take a single cent, if any.
Wait.
Wink, wink.
No, I'm saying.
Wait.
No,
so you're not taking. You're not even taking any points on the master or nothing.
Nothing.
Okay,
man.
Wait. Jokes aside, like giving to the culture side, one thing my mentor taught me, and she told me this very late. So I had a mentor who used to be the director of the Cape Town Opera House, and she told me, having love for the culture is a beautiful thing. Having love for the culture is what should inspire you to work. But if you don't figure out how the culture is going to pay you, you will die loving the culture and you will die broke. So, in as much as you're trying to be fair, one thing I've also had to learn the hard way is, do things for the culture, try be fair, like uplift artists wherever possible, but it shouldn't be at your cost, my guy. Trust me. I think you know the story. Like, I damn near went broke trying to be off the culture.
Yeah, I know.
Guy.
So
take those points, my guy. Take those points.
After the first one, I told myself, I would make the second one unless Power Nemari or there's external funding, and then the bug just hit, and I was like, okay, what? Let me just do it as is, and I lost a lot of money again, like literally all my savings putting this thing together. Paying for studio time, paying for instrumentals, and all these things and more, you know. So you're just like, man, what am I thing for? But yeah, that was really like the biggest challenge. But yeah, if I'm to do the next one, I'm going to try, by all means, to not use my own money for this thing. And yeah, I can't keep on doing this for the culture and getting Sando on the timeline, man. That's not enough.
I something about that. Especially for telling Aibo about that. Let me tell you right now. See Viangu yakati T ni Sando. Like I'm a hardware store. But I should buy that in there. And
yeah, man. It's unfortunate.
But okay, moving away from the
No. I did want to get on to because this is actually a very important conversation, especially for artists and for our fans, so that they also understand, like, because what Mukudzei is doing, it's very similar to what DJ Khaled does, and I think it's a very important discussion because a lot of people don't understand what Khaled does. I respect what Khaled does. Yeah. He's an annoying character, but for me, it's like if you're able to get Justin Bieber and Drake on the same song and get those songs cleared and they're willing to do promo, my guy, I don't think people understand how important
the publishing agreements, everything. Like it's a lot of hula hoops, man. It's a lot of hurdles that he has to jump.
Exactly. And,
yeah. But, and I can't even get a text back from Blink 4, but it's something.
So wait, you okay. Sticking on to business for a sec. You said earlier you were using your savings and stuff. Are you telling me that you've been paying for those beats?
Oh yeah.
And like, then you're giving it all away to you're a rotten, dirty liar. First of all,
hold on. There are beats that I paid for, and then there are beats that producers sent me for free.
Okay.
So yeah, even within that, right? The other thing you got to consider is this: if your role in this in these projects, I'm assuming is A&R. You're the lead A&R. You're the lead executive producer. Yeah. So you get the beats, and then you're like, okay, you know what? I think this rapper's going to work on this. Let me get a hook from this person. You know what? Hey, maybe let's change this up. This, then the third, right? So as an executive producer, you're entitled to points on the master already, and as an arranger, you're entitled to points on the pub. So you should be taking those. The second thing is, if you give these guys a hit, so if any of these songs take off, it's going to be part of their live show. They're going to get booked, and their set list is going to get built off songs from your project. Are you going to get paid when they get booked?
So as said, I'm still very naive, man, because I'm still on this. I don't even know what I'm trying to prove. I don't know if it's for humility. It's a fault of my own. I just don't like money discussions. So maybe I'm in the wrong business.
There's another way of looking at it, my guy.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? All right. You're investing because now you have a solid leg to stand on. Because I understand when you are approaching Ray Kaz, for example, you're like, listen, man, I want you to be on this song, right? You're coming from a place of, don't trial. But now you have two solid projects under your belt. Now you're approaching from a place of, hey, first of all, Google me. Second of all, let's go 50-50 on this joint. You see,
right?
So same with the producers, because anyway, I'm just trying to make
shout out. Maybe while we're still on that, shout out to Painter Fresco as well, because when we were discussing splits, I was like, nah, bro, like, and he was like, nah, dog, you deserve something. So he was actually, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But yeah, I should probably stop this. John produced it. Yeah, this for you, man.
Paint a picture for him. Paint a picture for him. Sugar bun, sugar katana. I'm shooting, I'm Tony Montana. I'm stepping like Brian Urbana. Niggas be moving like Ken and Banana. I remain dodging the drama. I'm not your cousin or Hama. You and I isn't Ohana. Leave you with stitches like I'm an Mbama. I don't trust these takes, but I will hurt. I talk the talk, I don't take it no further. You show me loyalty, I'll show you love. If you don't, then you taking it L like a learner. Lyrical talking, the miss get you murdered. Hey, we want you silenced, talk to my
my 10 out of 10, but never send them location yet, but then once they've had a text, they don't want the man. They're too busy trying to see me again. Dorunga, my shit. Niggas, you really ain't even.
Hello.
The bigger homie.
Hello.
The bigger homie.
Yuck!
Hello, Peter Fresco, you're on the podcast, so don't say anything incriminating. I'm here.
Oh,
with,
no.
I'm here with this guy called Mukudzei Mlambo. I don't know if you know him.
What's up, Muku?
Yo, what's good, bro?
What's good?
So yeah, we're just talking about this project that this young man dropped. Saka, who's moving like Ken and Banana, and what does that mean?
I don't know, but he said ew, so I don't know.
Ew.
He said
Nah. Paint. Banger.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
But I believe there's some alphabet people that want to have a word with you, my dog.
Hey. I don't want no smoke.
Anyway.
I don't want no smoke.
Meanwhile, I think I will with our play reps. Okay, mira want him there.
Hey. We cater for everybody. We cater for
Alliance
everybody.
Français, eh?
I think he was trying to say, dudes have an identity crisis. They don't know where they stand. So ew. He was like, guys, come on. It should
Figure yourselves out.
Exactly.
You see, wisdom.
Don't stay in the closet, Yeah.
Ona manje.
Wona kwayakutoenda manje.
Hakuna subtlety kunoko. Anyway, no. It's all good. Painter, we just want to give you your sandals. That's a dope item. That's a dope item. So walk us through quickly the process when you're making this song and writing that verse.
So I got the beat from John, the producer. I played it, and on my way to a rehearsal at Reps actually for my last show is when for my show last year is when I wrote the first couple of lines, the Shadaya lines, and from there it was really just 1, 2, 3.
All right. No. Dope. Just wanted to give you a quick call as we continue to talk about this project. Keep doing your thing, and then we shall give you another call about your upcoming projects.
Yes, sir. Shout out.
Blessings, my brethren. Blessings. Stay strong.
Appreciate you. Much love.
More life, brethren. More life.
Adi.
See, he picked up on the first ring, Dan. Our credit's back in the streets.
This is a first. We've broken the record. Finally,
that
someone has picked.
That was crazy.
No, but we've spoken about Painter Fresco on this podcast before. Phil's the one who put me on. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? Because okay. We don't have to have a structure for this. All right, let me give you some thoughts I had, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
fire away.
So I played some of this album for my wife as well, and she asked, and I won't specifically mention who she was referring to, but was like, Anzi, why are they trying to sound American? And then we'd play like another one. It's like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll play another one. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, she won't have the context of no, not Samora Chichi. Okay, let me be honest with you. She was talking about the intro. All right, she was talking about the intro.
Right.
What's his name? Leo Dale.
Leo Dale.
Okay, I don't know him. This is the first time I've heard him. And I couldn't help but think the same thing, because as actually really I really liked the soulful beat in the background of that intro, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't help but think now I don't know if he's good or not, because my entire mind is focused on Argunoza Ereka out to us. You know what I'm saying? Ndomatarake, maybe or maybe not. I don't know, but just that's what my mind is on, right? And I imagine that maybe other people would have thought the same. Ray Kaz, I mean, I know Ray Kaz, and we've listened to him before, so I guess I didn't think of that when I was listening to him. Even though Ray Kaz, I don't know Zaofut, but Ndomatarake, so I don't know.
Yeah, right.
So this is not necessarily a criticism. I'm just trying to say, like, it's weird how the mind goes in certain directions. So, Like, if you were to ask me how was the intro, the only thing I can remember about it is like the beat was fire, but angachinoza. But was he fire? Was he dope? Was he? My mind can't remember that anymore because the only thing I remember is angachinoza.
There's a little bit of a divide on that, man. I think it's a good point that you raised, but it's also something I've been battling with because you see two sides of that discussion when it comes to this. When it comes to the Sonics, right? So you have a side of people who's like, no, sound Zimbabwean, sound original, whatever that sounds like, because that's also a very vague description. And then you have people who are like, yeah, hey, you sound good for the Zimbabwean market, and they hear you. How are you going to sound international? So there's always that, disparity. I don't know what it is. Could you have people who are like, you need to sound so that we can sell you abroad, and then you have people who are like, no, you need to sound well for your people. I don't know if you can be both. I don't know if that's possible, but that's clearly maybe it's a north-south divide thing as well. Because there are people who are like, yeah, Holy Ten is dope. And then there are people who are like, yeah, but we can't send him abroad. And then there are people who are like, and then there are Zimbabweans who listen to someone like Ray Kaz's music. And then they're like, yeah, but I don't know if Grandma Kuchomuhapwa would listen to it. I'm like, why does she have to? So, there's always that weird divide. I don't know if that plays, if that's relevant or not.
So let me qualify what I was speaking about. So,
go ahead.
Carl Joshua Ncube used to have a bit in his stand-up comedy where he would speak about Wanwanonoza, but you could always tell that that's not how they really talk because every seventh word or so would just be off. And his whole thing was like, she'd be like, yeah, no, I'm just going to go to the Fiji. And they'd be like, now it sounds weird, right? And I think for me, I'm not really worried about accent. That's not what I'm worried about. Neither am I worried about, do you sound Zimbabwean or do you sound international? That's a whole other conversation that we can probably get into just now. What I'm speaking about is, to me, it sounds like he was putting on a way of speaking that he doesn't actually do because of that every seventh word or because of, which may be unfair because maybe he's not. Maybe that's just how he speaks and, and I don't know him personally, but I was just giving feedback of the thought that came into my head. And
you can only trust your ear, bro. Your ear will never lie to you. So that's what you hear is what you hear. Like it has, there's no bearing on the artist. Maybe Arbunoza. I've actually never heard. I haven't. Yeah, he sent me one voice note because I only got to know him 3 weeks. This is just some sort of insider information. That intro came 3 weeks before the album dropped. So.
Now I don't want to feel like I'm singling him out. So listen, hey, keep doing your thing, dog. Keep doing your thing. There's not any. I'm not trying to criticize you directly.
But
I'm just trying to give
you were Dan. You're a hater. Putting Dan's negativity aside, actually, you just reminded me on that intro. He keeps mentioning Calvin. So I wanted to ask about that.
I heard that as well.
Like, is it our Calvin?
It's Calvin. Is Calvin the producer? Calvin made it. He was also responsible for engineering the album as well.
Okay. Now it makes sense. That makes sense. So, did you have one engineer? Did Calvin do the whole project, or did you have multiple engineers?
He did 70% of the project.
Okay.
Because some rappers were like, nah, I have my own guy. And I was like, but for the sonic coherence of the album, can you just send me the stems?
Damn it, Fish F. Why can't you just play with everyone?
Yeah. So I said, so Fish had his own guy.
I knew it.
Kettis had his own guy. Who else? K Breezy had his own guy because this was also a late submission, and we were done with everything. And he was like, "Please, I just want to, I owe you for the last one." So I was like, "Okay."
And the dog.
And dog as well. Yep.
Then,
so the ones
how do you
that
know
Calvin
this?
did,
Why are you speaking from experience?
No, the ones that Calvin did, you can hear. Like it's such a distinct difference. It's So shout out to you for picking that up, Jan. That's impressive.
Not to say that it was bad. Like
No. But you can hear. You can hear.
That Fish F1 was one of my favorites on the album as well. My favorites are obviously the Raycaz joint. Paint a Fresco. Fish F. Yo, that joint goes hard, man. Yo. And then which one else did I want to mention? Hold on, let me just scroll through. Then there was some which were kind of fun. I was kind of bopping to Marlboro to Shabinia. You know what I mean? I was like, this is like a fun joint, man. This is cool. My wife also liked that one. And which one else did I like?
Well, Dan tries to remember
you didn't
that.
Like Mwita. You didn't like the one with Yadis, with the lady verse at the end. Dallas, I'm nice, bit. I'm nice with it.
You know that.
You don't like that, John?
There's two things.
I'm
there's two
failing
things.
to remember it.
One is
track 3.
You dropped a 22 track project. Yo, there's so many songs on this project.
I'm not doing that again, by the way.
And the other thing, the other thing, I was like, you know what? I used to be tapped in. I'm not tapped in like I used to be. I was looking at some of these names like, who? Okay, I'm vibing to it, but I don't know who the hell you is. But okay.
No. I'm never doing that again. Next project is 10 tracks, bro.
Yeah. The juice is not worth the squeeze, my guy. The juice is not worth the squeeze.
You're right. Yeah. Phil, I should probably consult you on these things, man, because you did what? How many Punga sessions did you do? 2, and you're like, bogus.
No, there'll be another one. It's just Rhymes and I are trying to be strategic about how we go about it because,
right.
On same thing with you. The first 2 ones, Rhymes and I are putting up our own money, and sometimes Rhymes is sacrificing money. So. Last Pungwe sessions, Rhymes was in Zim and he's getting phone calls from Wizkid. And Wizkid is like, my guy, where are you? And he's like, I'm in Zimbabwe. And Wizkid is in studio with Future. And so
wow,
I'm seeing that sacrifice. Like, you're a better man than me. You're a better man than me. Meanwhile, rappers aren't pitching up to sessions on time. Dudes are trying to steal equipment from the house. Like, guys. You guys don't respect us. You don't respect us. Until you respect us, we will do our own thing.
Yo, that's tragic.
I'm gonna play this Marlboro to Shabinia for a sec. This is the music section. You know that, Philip.
Mm-hmm.
Let me drop Marlboro to Shabinia. There we go.
I'm tryna take a trip to Shabinia. If you never been out to Syria, heard the girls there way prettier. Drinks on drinks if we live it up. Marlboro to Shabinia. Marlboro to Shabinia. Marlboro to Shabinia. Marlboro to Shabinia. I need me a break from the burbs. It's too quiet, need a sip, something new. I'm trying a new diet. Independent artist, but tonight on Black Label, debating the trending topics, fist slamming on the table. That's the language of the area. Watch out for any language barriers. Talking owns and dages ain't permitted in this area. Anzurum salad, but the way she looking at me got me thinking I might marry her. Doe Major told me slow down before I lose my dough. I'm like, I hear you, bro, but can you see that ass though? Anzi 6, wanokupedzawa, vakangwarisawa, especially after hours. And it's the weekend, like Abel's alter ego, rolling with royalty. Duke named Dingo. I'm wilding out because I'm recently.
I like this. I like. Well, okay. When I say, I mean like it's a.
You like
it's
that?
Like it's a vibey.
You like that notion of being single and just doing nonsense with Shabin. Okay.
Yeah. It reminds me of a simpler time, Phil. You know, a simpler time. No, but I like the vibe of it. But like I mentioned, I think my. The one you mentioned, right, with Yadis and Mlu J, and yeah, it was cool. I wouldn't count it as one of my favorites, but it was cool. I liked it.
Fair enough.
It was cool.
Fair enough.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about the whole, should you, sound Zimbabwean or put a Zimbabwean sound? I mean, I feel like everyone's going to have a different opinion on that, and something will work and something won't work. There's Nasty C made it, even though he, sounded American-ish. At the same time, Casper Nyovest made it and didn't sound anything American-ish. So,
Okay, Dan, we need to... So
6 of one, half a dozen.
I hate to be that person, but we need to define, what does made it mean?
I'm talking about, so this is in the context of the conversation we're having earlier, which is, I like your sound, but you won't be able to appeal to a local audience. Or I like your sound, but we can't export this. So I'm trying to say,
but
for
both
example,
those artists you've mentioned have not been able to export their sound.
But Nasty C was popular in South Africa, wasn't he? Yet, if people were to look at him and apply the same stereotype, they would be like, yo, people locally won't really vibe with this because, you know what I mean, you sound American.
But
meanwhile,
but that's also because I think I get where you're coming from, and you're not wrong.
Phil, you're focusing on the wrong semantics.
I'm bringing it back to what you're saying. I'm bringing it back to what you're saying, and you're right. But I wanted to define it because we're all nerds. Like there's 3 music nerds in here, so it makes it a fun debate. But the reason why I brought it up is back to that original comment. It comes from a flawed place, and I think that's one of the sad realities that I've had to come to terms with, and I think Dan in radio, you understand it as well. And Mugu, maybe you've also seen it, but you'll go to see it, is that Zimbabwean music, when it's taking on an identity that's not unique to Zimbabwe, i.e. hip hop, especially pop, etc., has not been exportable because it's foreign to us and it's not unique. And the problems that rappers are going to face is twofold. And this is one thing I realized even when I ran the blog. One is when you delve in a sound or music that is very heavy on your lyrical delivery, your wordplay, etc. If you're speaking to people who don't understand the language you're speaking in, right? That's one. 2 is you're coming from a market that doesn't have the numbers. And without those numbers, you don't have a solid base to build on. We were talking before we even started recording. Raycast just dropped another project that I just started listening to today. While I was listening to your project, I got a notification that Raycast has a new project. And I'm sampling that. And I'm looking at Raycast's numbers on Spotify. He still hasn't even crossed 1,000 monthly listeners. That's not an insult. Like Raycast may very well be doing well on other platforms because Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwean consumers may not be on Spotify. They might be on Audio Mac, they might be on YouTube, etc. But it's emblematic of the international audience he has. And
he's on 1,035.
Well, I'm assuming a big jump is probably because of this project that just dropped. But
well, look, your point is basically nullified. I think that's what this means. And
yes,
you were saying.
yes, because 1,000.
That's the one big detail.
But yeah, so and I think that's
oh my God, it's a 20-track project.
That's that, and then we go back to like what I was saying about the business of music is understanding where this is gonna go, how you can make money off it, but also how do we create art, because art needs to exist for our sake. But then
Mukudzei is on it.
How do we also make the art?
Yeah, man, I got a little something there.
How do we make the art viable for the creators of it? And it's a tough nut to crack in Zimbabwe right now, especially with hip hop.
Yeah, Phil, who do you think? A quick one. Who do you think Zimbabwean artists should? Zimbabwean hip hop artists. Let me be specific. Target. Like where are we now? You know, there's a temptation sometimes to deceive ourselves that we are bigger than what we are. I believe hip hop is on my streets. I believe that. I've heard some songs in Honda Feeds and Combis that I never thought I would hear. But should there be a grander goal, or should we just grow and expand from where we are right now? It's one of the reasons like this album, like Storytellers, is being made to introduce people to to a wide range of artists, because you tend to find that I would say there are probably like 4 successful hip hop artists in the country, at least monetarily, relatively enough. Wait! I'm not talking to buy a car. I know. Phil, you're big on the numbers, but enough to pay rent. $200. I think you have.
That made me so sad.
A respectable. A respectable quartet.
Hey man, why you come on here and just talk such negative things?
It's not negative. The thing is, the thing is like he speaks of a reality. Like he's being very realistic and pragmatic, but like it's sometimes when you hear it from another person and you're like, "Hey, Shabat for sure, Zimbabwe, like Zimbabwe no words, I guess." Yo, imagine. Jeez. I need to recover from that body blow. I just feel so bad. But yeah, sorry, what was the original question?
Yeah, like where do you think we should go? Who should we target? And if there's really that room for that expansion?
I think I'll answer your question in this way, because I don't want to be that person that preaches. Because I've done many a panel, I've done many a conference, like, and sometimes I literally have to stop. I literally pull my hair out, or I have to like distract myself, because people like they talk to artists like they idiots, so they talk at them, and they'll say these grandiose things about you guys need to do ABCD, and they're like, but you're so divorced from the reality. I think artists should be allowed to do whatever they are so inclined to do as artists. That's the beauty of being an artist, right? We shouldn't dictate what the art. Right. But they should also understand the nuance in their art, so that they know what's commercially viable and what's not. And the only way you can do that is by constantly creating art. The problem we have is in the process of creating art, they aren't doing the necessary admin to just collect on the small amounts of revenue and opportunities that are available. Like, have you done this? Like, there have been opportunities, and I've tried to forward them wherever possible, where a music supervisor will hit me up and look for a song, and I'm like, okay, you know what, this actually might work. Do you like this one? They're like, yeah, dope. Hit up the guy. Yo, do you have split sheets? No, I can't help you, dog, because that would have been a nice little $2,000-$3,000. That would have been a nice $3,000 check for you for song placement, but you missed the opportunity because you didn't do the simple thing like get your split sheets in order. How many guys are members of Zimura? How many guys are active? Like every conference I go to, they're always complaining about Zimura, but none of them are members of Zimura. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I think starting there is just the bare minimum. Then I think...
Speaking of which, tomorrow is the Zimura workshop engagement conference thing.
No one's coming to that.
You see now.
You see, and that's the problem. In fact, thanks for reminding me. Then I think I'll go. And then the last thing that I would suggest is, this album is emblematic of what's needed in the culture. There's too much clicking up. There's too much people trying to protect the little fiefdoms. Every movement that has had some form of success, whether it's music, whether it's TikTok, Vine creators, the works, the guys that have managed to come together and just build together. I'm like, yo, I don't even have to like you. I don't have to like you, but this is what we're working towards, and we've got our business in order. Bet, let's get to it. That's how things grow. That's what the Amapiano acts have done in South Africa. That's what the Nigerian, like, if you've, let me not speak in generalities, but not every Afrobeats artist likes each other. Not every Afrobeats artist gets along with their label, but they're all like, screw it, working towards the bigger picture. They'll be beefing with their label even, but they'll be like, let's do what needs to be done because I see the vision for myself. I see the benefit it's going to have for me. And as a byproduct, the benefit it's going to have for the culture, etc. Then after we're secure, then let's get back to our beefs. But for now, let's focus on building what we're trying to build. Yeah. And I think that's the problem. The fact that like Dan mentioned that there's a Zimura workshop and you quickly said no one's going to it. That's already what are we doing? Like, are people serious about being a viable artist? Like, if you want to rap on the weekends and it's a passion project and you don't need the money, fair and fine, whatever. But if this is something you're trying to pursue as a life, the same way, if you're trying to be an accountant or a journeyman or tradesman, whatever, you take the professional courses, and whenever there's new stuff that comes up, you take those classes. You know what I mean? There's qualified CEOs. I've got a neighbor. I hear this dude listening to about machine learning every night, but he's set for life. But he's still trying to educate himself. Why are artists not doing that? Because I know they can. Because these are the same artists that taught themselves how to mix and master off YouTube. They taught themselves how to make beats off YouTube. But somehow when it comes to this part of it, they all of a sudden, oh, no one is teaching us. I don't know what to do.
Yep. And it's sad, man, because I think we believe in our hype a little too much, man. The egos that I come across, and sometimes I was telling another friend of mine this morning, I was like, man, there were artists that were airing me for this project, and their music is not even on DSPs. I just know you off cloud, you know, and you know, you reach out to someone, and I was texting like a groupie, bro, like, you know, like quadruple texting, you know, these people. Hey, man, I would really like, bro, I would really love for you to be on this joint, man. And, you know, no response. I'm just like, just tell me you can't do it, you know, tell me you can't do it. So I don't know what it is. Which is why I'm very, what's that?
I'm saying you don't realize it, but they did you a favor. Trust me. One thing you'll also learn is the people that make it difficult to work with them, when they show you that they're difficult to work with, understand they're difficult to work with and be like, you know what? Thanks for letting me know up front. You don't even have to say anything. Just the fact that I've had to double text you, you've let me know where we stand, boy. Because trust me.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, this is where we are. This is why I hate beefs in Zimbabwean hip hop, because they've never helped anyone. I would die on that hill, man. They've never helped anyone. You can try to point to me, Calvin. You can try to point to me, Noble Styles. I don't care, man. The beefs have never helped. We should be collaborating more. But yeah. Anyways,
it depends.
That's a whole different.
Because is it beef for beef's sake, or is it beef because I genuinely don't like this person and I'm expressing it in my music? I think they have been manufactured beefs. Some of them are very easy to spot. So like sometimes Dad and I will be recording and we'll just be like, are we supposed to believe this is legit? But you know, but sometimes people genuinely don't like each other. So I've like, if you don't like a person, you know, like, and you want to express it in art, go ahead and express it in the art. But it better be good. It better be entertaining. It better have some sort of value to it. Like, and I think ultimately it all boils down to making the good art, but then being strategic about how you distribute that art and share that art and monetize the art, etc. So, I hope you're finding ways to capitalize on this, the brand recognition, click-throughs, whatever it may be for yourself, because in as much as the work you're doing is really important for the culture, it's needed for the culture. It provides like a moment in time that people can hopefully always go back to and be like, yo, this is where Zim hip hop was at this time. And these are some of the projects that help get it where it is. You also can't do that to your own detriment. And that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. So now I've become that annoying old OG, but I have to say the same thing to you. Like, don't sacrifice yourself for the culture, because trust me, when I needed the culture to help me, when I was going through some numbers, no one was there. No one cared. No one cared.
Yeah, you don't eat sandos, man. It's very easy to believe that, but yeah, I'll take that up. I think I've lost enough money now to. So when people are like, oh, give us the third one, fourth, fifth, I'm like, pay up, because I can't keep doing this forever. So,
no, but I mean, you can like somewhat strategize, because I mean, you know, here's the beautiful thing. For example, here you have a joint with Paint a Fresco. It's a pretty solid bet that he's gonna, just from his talent alone and the music that he's putting out, at some point, dude is gonna be, you know, he's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
So here you are with several songs with him. Here you are with a good relationship with him. That investment can pay off at some point. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you always putting Rick Ross on an album is gonna. I don't know. I suppose the Young Jeezy, the what you call it, the DJ Khaled comparison maybe is not apt here. But my point is, if you know that long term, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I also have a percentage that I'm gonna be getting from this, and I know maybe it's not this year, maybe it's not next year, but 3, 4, 5 years from now, half the artists that I've put on this album are gonna blow out. Meaning people are gonna start looking for their songs. Meaning I have a good relationship with them. I've made music with them. I can hit them up. And so, I mean, you can always find a way to monetize it.
Long term.
Yeah.
Long term, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
What's your favorite on the project?
Just one.
I mean, we're not gonna play the whole 22-track album.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna play the whole thing. I can tell you the record I've been playing the most lately. Kachana, definitely. I've been playing that. Yeah, I've been playing that record.
We played that one already. Give me another one.
You played that one. You played the Raycast joint as well.
No, we haven't. Let me drop it.
Yeah. I think
it was playing when you joined the Zoom, but I don't think it's in the recording.
Okay. Yeah. I think.
Shoot.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. That joint and Stalling by The Last Letter.
Yep.
Yeah. That's that one right there, man. Yeah. That's. I hope he does incredible work for her because she's mad talented. She's really, really, really talented, and she's always said, "I'm not underrated. I'm just underexposed." I think she's incredible. So
I see what you're doing, dog. Nah, look, I wasn't familiar with your game. But,
come on, man.
I see you, dog. I see. Nah, you know what? Nah. Shout out to The Last Letter, though. Mukudzei's really putting on for you. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I don't know.
But
I don't really
track
know.
Track 2 is the one, man. Track 2 is the one. Track 2 is the one.
Yeah, track 2 is probably the standout. Maybe we can we'll end with track 2, Phil.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Dope,
let's do that.
Dope.
Let's do.
No, but actually, you know what? While we got you here, what is the state of semi pop? Because as you are more in touch than us, so what are you seeing on the ground? What are you seeing in terms of live shows?
For these conversations, we need the real bastions of the culture. We need Denzel here and we need Dennis here. That's what will really get because these guys have skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? They've really worked in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? And they've really proven beyond doubt that they're the ones we should be talking to whenever we want to talk about hip hop.
Yeah, I'll let me give my the Mukudzei take before we go to the real.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Nah, I know what you mean. I mean the standout issue, and I hate to keep on banging on this one, man. The standout issue is there's no money in hip hop right now. However, I don't know if there's ever been, but relative to the infamy, so to speak. However, I feel like there are more ears now, and people are actually doing a lot of shows. Like there's tangible documentation of what people are doing. So either people dropping, merch, pushing their own merch, people hosting their own shows, not waiting for promoters, like the guys from Shabin Rap, Do Major, and Dingo Duke, and Ndonzi Beats, all these guys. They're hosting their own shows. You have even the underground scene as well. Don Jovi and crew doing Essential Sundays stuff. So you actually have some bit of motion when it comes to the guys are really putting in work to as far as performances go and trying to sharpen their craft. So yeah, I would say, and I genuinely believe there's quality music, man. I've experienced both eras from my experience dates back to your not the kingpins, but MMT days, Maskiri. I was raised on Maskiri, so from there,
My
major players,
condolences.
Maskiri,
Sorry,
XQ,
Kings.
Sorry about that.
Few Kings, and now, so both golden generations, if I can, from there. So I would like to argue, as much as people can tell me otherwise, this is arguably one of our strongest classes as far as individual talent
Without question
goes. We could do.
Without question,
I think we could do
great.
better on albums and stuff, but singular, I think the guys are doing great.
I think they also like globally, culturally, the album is dying, and the albums are very expensive. The return on investment on the album is
we're in a
diminutive.
singles era, man.
So I'm not mad at that. I think there's definitely a lot of guys I'm listening to, and I'm like, these guys are cold. These guys are dropping heat. It's now just the smaller things where. And it's the stuff that, especially, it frustrates me. Like, especially like when I'm working live events, and I'm like, "Sha, my guy, you don't have the performance mix. You're still doing DJ track 3."
Man.
DJ track 3. My guys.
I have seen. I can say on my end, I've only seen probably 3 artists who, when they're performing Vanugadzira, like a DJ mix, like literal live performance tailored song where, he'll be like, okay, Tosia chorus, and then the rest is just me, no backing track, all of this and more. Everyone is just like, yeah, just play the joint off YouTube, bro. And I got it. But yeah.
I don't.
What was your question, man?
No. It was just more. My question was more so a comment. But yeah, I think we're in a great phase. I was just asking about like how you see the state of Zim hip hop, which you've answered, and it's exciting to see, man.
We're good, man. If K Flow from Gweru can break through, man, that's incredible. And I met that kid in 2018 for the first time. And to see him where he is now, like the tangible growth, the fact that it's a recognizable name, not just in hip hop circles, but with the neutrals as well, man, is incredible. That organic growth is just that's dope. Having people like Baga break through, is dope. Or stars being made through affiliation. Your Saint Flows, Michael Mags. Like, for me, that's dope. So I think we're in a good place. Let's see. We'll see where we are in 2 years. But for now,
I think
to
me the true mark of the growth in the genre is when these artists start being booked to perform to non-Zimbabwean audiences.
Yep, I agree,
and I think that's where they should be focused on. That's where their eyes should be, but whether they're able to get there or not, we'll see. But that's where I feel that they should be focused. But yeah, man, this project is dope. Just wanted to give you your hammers.
I mean, didn't you see Baga was getting love in Zambia from Zambians?
Oh yeah, I saw that as well. I saw that as well.
Little by little, guys.
Bichana Zambia. Lusaka first. Lusaka before California.
Yeah, let's not start with South Africa at the moment. But Kumekwese. Just say let's just wait. Not now. The block is a bit hot now.
Dope stuff, man.
Dope, man. Muku, thanks for joining us. Plug where people can get hold of Yao and where they can check out the project.
Man. At Zazise Media on everything. At Mukudzei Mlambo on everything. So, yeah.
Nice.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. I think the streams are gonna the 2BT boost is coming. It's coming. Definitely. I believe it.
Definitely.
I'm going for Grammys.
Nice. As long as we don't get an email from Spotify saying that you've played music from this rights holder and it shall be removed within 24 hours.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I appreciate you guys so much, man. Thank you.
All right. Bless my G.
That's all, my guy. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think we can wrap it up at this point.
We did have a sports ball update. How do you feel about Lewis Hamilton's win over the weekend?
I win by default. Meh. Win by default.
Did you watch the race?
Did
you watch the race?
I did not.
Oh,
I did not. I did not watch this past race. I was at Ebrai.
Look at you out in these streets. Wow.
Yeah. But congratulations, Lewis Hamilton, and almost well done to Mercedes for a 1-2. Who knows? Things may be changing. But yeah, I only saw the highlights afterwards, which I've been paying close attention to. If I don't watch the race, I watch the highlights the next day, so that's fine. So we're gonna end with track 3 off of Storytellers of the Culture by Zazise Media. That's that joint with Ray Kaz. What's it called? Let me pull up.
That's the one that painted fresco. That's the one that painted fresco. Oh, by the way,
no. The one who painted fresco is
dropped the project. My man's on a bit of a tear. Right now. Have you sampled it yet, Dan?
Phil, you told me about it when we started recording. When was that? While we were recording, is that when I was gonna sample it? No, I was saying the Ray Kaz joint that we're ending with now, Phil, after 2.5 hours of recording, is Zazise. Zazise and Ray Kaz, which is off that Storytellers of that. So actually go stream it. It's actually dope, man.
I thought we're ending with the Painter Fresco song. I'm confused.
No, we played the Painter Fresco song during our discussion. And then we said we were going to end it with the Ray Kaz song.
Okay.
So I'm here to remind you, Phil. Also in the meanwhile, go check out Tammy Moyer's new song, Kwatoenda. And I haven't heard the Bling 4 song yet, so I don't know. Okay. So on that note, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode. We out of here now. Please do the usual, twobroketwimbos.com/donate to make sure that you subscribe and become a member of the exclusive Two Broke Twimbos patrons, where we can have some discussions. Exclusive. And of course, you can just show that you support the podcast. I guess we'll catch you in the next one. We out.